Now, a couple weeks ago, I did a 25-year rebuild of the Chicago Blackhawks, and it only felt right for the next team to be the San Jose Sharks, so that's what we're doing. A 25-year rebuild with the San Jose Sharks. Malcolm Celebrini, Will Smith, William Mecklin, Michael Misa, you guys are going to be the key players we're building around. However, more than likely, one of you guys will eventually get traded because you're all playmakers, and we can't have this many playmakers on the team. It just wouldn't make sense. More than likely, one of you are eventually going to be traded away for a defenseman, and then we're going to pair said defenseman up with Sam Dickinson in the future, or maybe we'll pair them up with Nick Leddy, a guy who's just thrown on waivers. When it comes to my thoughts on Nick Leddy's play, I'm just going to keep my thoughts to myself. But you know what? That's beside the point. Ashcroft is going to be the goaltender for the future. I think we're all well aware of that. He's going to be a stud for us. When it comes to the first couple years for this rebuild, we are not rushing the process. We are going to let the young guys develop. We're not worried about competing for a Stanley Cup this season. We're not even worried about competing for a Stanley Cup next season. We are going to embrace the rebuild for the San Jose Sharks. We're not going to push any panic buttons. We're not going to rush anything. We're just going to enjoy the slow rebuild, which this is going to be. Also, Mario Ferraro, you will be the first guy to give an extension to. Here's $3.6 million for the next 3 years. Kiefer Sherwood, I'll re-sign you at a later date. But the San Jose Sharks are ready to roll. They're ready to simulate the entire season, or at least simulate up to the trade deadline. Then we'll make some trades. Because there is a very high probability we're going to make a lot of moves at the trade deadline because we're going to be selling off a lot of pieces because we're certainly not competing for a Stanley Cup. Now, things are going exactly according to plan right now. The San Jose Sharks are one of the worst teams in the entire league, but Seattle is very bad. Like very, very bad. An 18-37-6 record. But you know what? That might be a good thing. Because we know for a fact if you're the worst team in the entire league, you're not getting the first overall pick. You're dropping from 1 to 3. So maybe that's going to give the San Jose Sharks the opportunity to jump from 3 to 1. I think we actually might be cooking here. The San Jose Sharks actually might be onto something. We're going to get the first overall pick not through being the worst team in the entire league, but instead the third worst in the entire league. This team is certainly onto something. I see the vision. Ashcroft, 20 wins, 1 shutout, a 908, and a 325. I don't care what the numbers look like. Truthfully, I don't really care too much about what the scoring numbers for this team look like in year number 1. We're going to make some trades. We're going to sell off some pieces. We're embracing this team's young core for the future. With that being said, who can I really trade away here? I guess I can talk to Dmitry Orlov, but then again, he has a $6.9 million cap hit. We do need to bring some money back, so I don't know how we trade his $6.9 million away and then bring money back as well. So making some trades actually might be a lot harder than I was expecting. Okay, now this could be a very risky trade, but I think this is high risk, high reward. Owen Tippett. I think if I play you on the top line, you can turn into a really good player, maybe get up to like an 86, 87 overall. Like, I'm going to put you on the first line with Macklin Celebrini. Worst case scenario, this doesn't work out for us, and then we just trade you down the line. But right now, we do need to reach the salary cap floor, so I think a trade like Nick Leddy for Owen Tippett sort of makes sense for us. I wouldn't mind taking back a third round pick as well. Hopefully I can do Nick Leddy for Owen Tippett in a third round pick. I highly doubt they're saying yes to that. They're going to be rejecting it, so we're just going to go 1 for 1. Nick Leddy for Owen Tippett. They're going to be rejecting that. Apparently, we're very off when it comes to trade value. I think you're bugging. So here is a lucrative 7th round pick, and I'm expecting you to say yes. There we go. So Owen Tippett, welcome to the team. But now that we've done that, Dmitry Orlov, maybe I will trade you away. I mean, it all depends on whether you're willing to waive your no trade clause or not. And you know what? I think we should be able to get this done. Persuasion success, very convincing. Dmitry Orlov, where are you willing to go? Let's go find out. So it looks like we're going to be able to trade Orlov to the Chicago Blackhawks, Detroit Red Wings, or Pittsburgh Penguins. Pittsburgh's interesting, and I think that's where we're going to send him. All right, so here's what I'm looking at. Dmitry Orlov, a 4th round pick, Ty Dellandrea, and Nolan Allen sent over to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brunick and McGroarty are both going to be brought in. I think Brunick will be a good defenseman for us next season. McGroarty are likely going to finish the season in the AHL, but next season, both you guys are going to be making the jump to the team. They're going to be rejecting this package right here, but I think they just need a 7th round pick. But I actually don't know if we have any more 7th rounders. It doesn't look like it, so I'll give you the even more lucrative 6th round pick for 2027, and that's going to get this deal done. So I think those are going to be the only 2 trades we make. We ended up picking up a couple more young players, but more importantly, we made our team worse for this season, so hopefully we can drop to 2nd worst in the entire league, and then we can get the 1st overall pick. Now, before we simulate the rest of the season, there are a couple contract extensions I wouldn't mind handing out. Kiefer Sherwood, we can do $4 million for the next 3 years. I think that's pretty fair, but maybe we can do less than that. How about 3.7 for the next 3 years? I think that's a steal with him. Liljegren, I guess we can keep you around because we don't really have anyone else to work with. 2.9 for the next 2. That's an absolute steal. Skinner likely leaving the team. Desharnais, I'm 1000% not bringing you back. Klingberg's not coming back either. Kurashev at the right price, I can bring you back to the team. And 2.9 is not crazy, so you can return as well. And then Mook-Madulin, you can return to the team as well. Here's 3.1 for the next 2 years. Shakir Mook-Madulin, welcome back. And I think that might be the first time I've ever said his last name. Did I say it wrong? Probably, but you know what? We gave it a shot. Now, I have some bad news to finish out the season. We weren't the 3rd or 2nd worst team in the entire league. Instead, we were the 4th worst team in the entire league. The Philadelphia Flyers were worse than us. How did we let this happen? How did we allow Philly to be worse than us? The Seattle Kraken were just terrible though. 22 wins this season. How on earth did you guys only win 22 games? Marco Celebrini had 77 points this season, but more importantly, up to a 95 overall. Yeah, he definitely took the next step. Tyler Toffoli, 73 points. Kiefer Sherwood, 47 points. Owen Tippett, I'm excited to see what you did since joining the team. You're an 84 overall, 7 goals and 5 assists for 12 points in 22 games, only -3. I don't hate these numbers. You're going to get another opportunity on the top line next season, and I'm hoping you can at least be a 50-point guy moving forward. Ascroft, 28 wins, 3 shouts, a 909 to 319. We currently have some of the best odds of getting the first overall pick, the Toronto Maple Leafs Stanley Cup champions, but we need that first overall pick. We need to find a way to get the first overall pick. Can we jump in the draft? It doesn't look like it. Seattle's actually getting the first overall pick. That's very surprising. The Rangers are jumping from 8 to 2, so that means we're going to be dropping from 4 to 5, but that's not the end of the world. There's likely still going to be some good players available, and at the end of the day, if there is a franchise potential player projected number 1, we can always make a move. So if there is a franchise potential player projected number 1, we will make a move for the first overall pick, but it doesn't look like that's the case. The second overall pick is a grinder. Nah, that's crazy work. Now, when it comes to the player we're going to select with the 5th overall pick, I have no clue who we're going to go with. I'm not really too sure who I'm interested in. Stenberg is an option, but we have to understand, there are so many playmakers on our team right now, it's actually a bit ridiculous. We have Michael Misa, we have Celebrini, we have Will Smith, we have William Eklund. We don't need a 5th sniper in Stenberg. So with that being said, I think we're going to trade down in the draft. Alright, so you remember how the plan was to trade back in the draft? Well, I have tried to trade back in the draft, and it is literally pointless. Like, basically, I'm going to trade back 3 picks, and then by trading back 3 picks, we get a 7th round pick in return. That's the additional asset we get. So what we're going to do is we're going to draft Belchez. I know we're drafting him pretty early here. Yes, he's only a 72 overall, but we could use another power forward on the team in the future. We don't need another playmaker in Stenberg. It doesn't make that much sense. I guess we could have drafted Stenberg and traded him away, but I didn't really want to do that. Now we're going to go a little off the board with this next selection. We're going to draft this guy about 20 picks early. He has inaccurate scouting when it comes to low franchise potential, but I have a feeling if we draft him right here, we're getting somebody who has a low league potential. Let's see if that's the case. Yes, it is. Klingberg, welcome to the team, low league potential. That's a decent pickup in the 6th round. Now there are a handful of players that do need extensions, but I think when it comes to basically 90% of these guys, we're looking at 2-way contracts or contracts like this where it's 1.1 for 2 seasons. So I'm not going to show you a lot of these signings because they're basically just going to be the exact same thing. We're not signing anyone over $1.5 million. So with us not spending too much money during the re-sign phase, that means we can spend all of our money right now. Mac and Celebrini, this is way better than I was expecting. Of course, we're going to do 8 seasons and I'm giving you no movement because you're never going to leave this team. Or at least you're not leaving this team until you're like 38 years old. So we're going to bring Celebrini back to the team. We're looking at like 9.5 million. And you know what? I'll even make some promises so we can save some money. So I tried to negotiate with Mac and Celebrini, and that was actually the worst thing that I could have done because now we're actually saving less money. Somehow through the negotiation, it's costing us more money. That's why I never negotiate. This is why I hate negotiating. 10.8 million for the next 8. If I didn't negotiate with Celebrini, we would have saved significantly more money. But you know what? It seems like we've learned from our mistakes. So we won't do the same thing with Will Smith, but he's only looking for 2 seasons right now. So I think we're going to hold off because I do want to lock him down for 8 years. And then outside of those 2 guys, I think the only other player that needs an extension is Ascroft. He's not interested in signing one right now, and he wants 7.2 million on top of that. So yeah, we're going to hold off a little bit. I guess it wouldn't hurt to throw a contract at McGroarty, so I'll give you 2 years at 2.7 million. That's more than fair. So right now we have $39 million in cap space, and we need to spend a bit just so we can reach the cap floor. So Rasmus Anderson, I know you don't have a lot of organizational interest, but what if I just throw you the biggest bag imaginable? I shouldn't really say the biggest bag imaginable, but I'll do 8.5 million for the next 5 years. I know we don't have the contract interest, but maybe that will make the difference. I'll give you 8.5 million. If you joined the team, amazing. If not, it's not the end of the world. Luke Shen, I'll also throw a big bag at you. I'm going to give you like $4 million. That just helps us reach the salary cap floor. Are you worth $4 million? Absolutely not. But at the end of the day, you help us reach the cap floor, and that's what I'm looking for. And you know who else is going to help us reach the cap floor? Jordan Spence. Here's 3.9 million for the next 3 years. I think you're going to play some second pairing minutes for me. I mean, truthfully, those 2 signings are based on the fact that we're likely not getting Rasmus Anderson. If we do walk away with Rasmus Anderson, truthfully, I'm going to be really surprised. But after those defensive signings, signings. It wouldn't hurt if we brought in a couple forwards. I don't really know who we're going to bring in. Ideally, somebody on a 1-year deal. I mean, I guess I could throw a massive bag at Jordan Eberle, and I think we'll do that. Jordan Eberle, here's $6 million for one season. Hopefully that's going to be enough to convince you to join the team. I know you don't have the organizational interest, but I'm giving you $6 million. And then Charlie Coyle, I might do the exact same with you. I'm just going to throw $6 million at you. Actually, I'm not going to do quite $6 million with Charlie Coyle. I'll just do like 4.5 or something. Actually, we'll do 4.1 because that's the number I landed on. And then, of course, we'll finish it off with a backup goaltender. Guzda, you can be that guy. $1 million for the next 3. I think that's a steal. Now, see, this doesn't really surprise me. They had higher organizational interest. Rasmus Anderson's joined the Montreal Canadiens. That doesn't really shock me. Okay, just hold on, wait a minute. This actually could be the move. Svechnikov for these 2 young players right here. Now, as we know, I've had problems with Svechnikov in the past, but I don't think we will today because I'm going to play him on the top line with Macklin Celebrini, and if he can't succeed with Macklin Celebrini, then he's not going to succeed anywhere. Now, once again, we're not trying to rush the process, but I actually think this team won't be half bad this season. Like, looking at the forward core, there's really no weaknesses. The defensive core is the main weakness on this team. Like, we still don't have that many great defensemen, so I'm still not expecting us to do too much this season. Ascroft's up to an 84 overall. I haven't quite given him an extension yet because I would like to do 8 seasons. Him and Will Smith are the 2 guys I want to do 8 seasons with, so we're going to hold off to the trade deadline with both those guys, then we'll find a way to sign them. Now, at the end of the day, we're not looking to win a Stanley Cup this season. If we're able to win one, I definitely wouldn't be against it. Basically, all I want this season is development. I want to watch our team develop. I want to see Svechnikov return to like an 89 overall. I want to see Owen Tippett get back up to an 87. I want to see all the young defensemen on this team continue to develop, and once we do that, our future will be pretty bright. Now, I was about to say things are going according to plan. Then I saw the Chicago Blackhawks were first with a 46-14-4 record, so maybe we have to speed up the rebuild a little bit because we're currently the worst team in the entire league with only 22 wins. But you know what? I'm fine with that. I am not against us only having 22 wins because we're building for the future here. Macklin Celebrini, 57 points, 23 goals, 34 assists. Svechnikov, 42 points. I was expecting a little bit more from you, only 16 goals so far. Owen Tippett, 11 goals and 18 assists for 29 points. You're slowly turning into a fraud. I was expecting more from you, and you are doing absolutely nothing for me right now. But once again, we're not hitting the panic button. We don't have a super elite coach right now, so I can't really expect too much. Ascroft, I'm getting a little worried about your development considering the team is so bad in front of you. But you know what? I'm not going to panic. We're not hitting any panic buttons right now. We're only in season number 2. We're not even trying to compete right now. What we're trying to do is get the first overall pick so we can draft Landon Dupont, and then we can have a franchise defenseman alongside our franchise forward. Now, we will look at making a couple trades here. We'll take a look at a couple players' trade values. If anything's jumping out at me, then we'll make a move. But based on what I'm seeing right now, I don't think we're going to do anything. I think we're just going to stick with what we have. So we're not going to make any trades. Actually, we will make one trade, or at least we're going to check in with one player. Tyler Toffoli, are you willing to be traded? I don't want you wasting away here in San Jose. If I can move you, I think I'm going to do so. And it looks like we might be able to trade him to 3 different teams. Tyler Toffoli, tell me what those teams are and we'll make a move. So the 3 teams he's interested in going to: the Chicago Blackhawks, Montreal Canadiens, and Toronto Maple Leafs. We should be able to get something done. The only thing we're probably going to struggle with is reaching the salary cap floor. So here's what I'm thinking. We got to do a bit of a 3-team trade. Tyler Toffoli and a 7th round pick over to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Nick Waugh, welcome to the team. They're going to be rejecting that deal because they need another 7th round pick. So here's a 7th rounder for 2028. Hopefully that's going to be enough, and it looks like it is. Now, Nick Waugh, I'm going to send you over to Montreal. So what we're going to do with Nick Waugh is we're going to send him over to the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to bring in Zachary Bolduc. They're going to be rejecting this deal, but what if I retain half of Nick Waugh's contract? Like, there's no reason I can't retain half his contract, so maybe by retaining 50%, we can get this deal done. They're still saying no. I think we're pretty close. We'll throw in a prospect that doesn't have a ton of value, and that should be enough to get this one done. How about I give you this medium top 6 potential defenseman? I think this is more than enough. Montreal, thank you for accepting the deal. Zachary Bolduc, welcome to the team. So those are going to be the 2 trades we make here. We're still tanking. Don't get it twisted. Now, before we simulate the rest of the season, I do want to check in on 2 players, William Eklund and Will Smith. Eklund's looking for $9.4 million. We can definitely do that, but I'm just not sure if he's a part of this team's future. I'm going to be completely honest. I'm kind of leaning towards Will Smith a bit more, but I'll start with $8.5 million for the next 2 years. We'll see if he's willing to accept that. And then Will Smith, right now, you're only looking for a 1-year deal, so I guess I'll hold off with you. Also, I almost forgot about Ascroft. I guess it wouldn't hurt if we brought him back to the team, so how about we do 6.3 for the next 2 years? Can't
can't forget about Askarov. Now this season's going to look a lot worse than what it actually is. So the San Jose Sharks, dead last in the entire league, a 30-46-6 record. That's what we were striving for this season. That's what we want to happen with the San Jose Sharks. Malcolm Celebrini, only 69 points this season. That won't happen again. I'm going to give you some more pieces to work with. I'm not going to allow you to see some failures like this again. I'm going to give you some more pieces heading into next season. We're going to start seeing a bit more success on this team. Askarov, 24 wins, 3 shouts, a 910 to 306. Honestly, the numbers from you aren't bad. Now, the reason this season looks way worse than expected, well, the Chicago Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup. They completed their rebuild and have won a Stanley Cup while we're still the worst team in the entire league. So this looks bad, but it's not quite as bad as you think, because things are about to get a lot better here, because we're about to get the first overall pick and we're bringing Landon Dupont to the team, except we're absolutely not, because we're going to drop from 1 to 3 while Nashville jumps from 10 to 1 and Ottawa jumps from 9 to 2. It only makes sense. Alright, so we got to figure out how to move up to the first overall pick, because I really want to bring Landon Dupont to the team. I think he could be a game changer for us. Third overall and Kiefer Sherwood unfortunately isn't enough. Maybe we throw Mario Ferraro into the deal. I'm not really 100% sure. I mean, I guess I could throw Jordan Spence into the deal. We won't really need Jordan Spence if we're getting the first overall pick. So Jordan Spence, Kiefer Sherwood, the third overall for the first overall pick. They're still saying no. Do you want a future pick? I can maybe give you a future second. I'll give you a second rounder for 2028. Hopefully this is going to be enough. They're saying no. I don't know if I want to give up any more than this. I feel like if I give up more than this, I'm going to be regretting the trade. So I think we're just going to hold on to the third overall. Because I guess regardless of what happens, we are going to be walking away with at least a mediumly potential defenseman. The guy projected second overall as a defenseman. The guy projected third overall as a defenseman. So regardless of what happens here, we're going to be securing a defenseman in the top 3. So with the third overall pick, we're going to select this mediumly potential defenseman right here. He's going to be starting his career as an 80 overall. Honestly, this isn't the end of the world. Would have I preferred Landon Dupont? Absolutely. But I'll definitely take this 80 overall right here. Now the rest of this draft looks terrible, so we're looking to get a future 3rd and 7th round pick from the Buffalo Sabres. They're going to be accepting immediately. That's a great trade for us considering what's available. Now I think next season is going to be one more year of tanking, one more season of allowing all the young guys to develop. Will Smith, I'm going to sign you for $8.2 million for the next 2 years. So that's going to help us reach the salary cap floor. So after bringing Will Smith back to the team, when it comes to every other extension, it's 2-way contracts or you don't return. Or if I can qualify you as an RFA, you can return to the team as well. But yeah, we're not looking to spend too much more money here during the re-sign phase. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, we really didn't have to spend too much money. When it comes to extensions, though, we definitely will. Liljegren, I'm actually not going to give you $4 million because I think we have some replacements for you. Mook Madulin, I will bring you back to the team. We'll do 3.3 for the next 2 years. Michael Misa, I'd like to do a long-term deal. Maybe we can do like 4 years or something. I'll do 2 years at $800K. That actually works even better. And then Graf, I'd like to bring you back to the team as well. You want $2 million for 1 season? I think we can do that. Now we do need to sign a little bit of money just so we can reach the salary cap floor. So Kyle Palmieri, I will give you $9 million and you'll be a healthy scratch for me. I'm going to give you $9 million and a no movement to not play for me. That is how desperate I am to reach the salary cap floor right now. I'm going to pay you to not play for me. And then we'll sign one other player, Pius Suter. Here's $3.8 million. With those 2 contracts handed out, I don't think we have to do anything else. It is another year of tanking, another year of letting the young guys develop. We have a lot of amazing young talent on this team. We just have to allow them to develop, and then when they take that next step, we're going to take over the league. I threw Kyle Palmieri the biggest bag imaginable, and he still said no. That's crazy. We also didn't get Pius Suter. Alright, I guess we're not bringing in any of the top free agents. So we need to bring in somebody on a 1-year deal. Truthfully, I don't care who that player is. It can be Patrick Kane for all I care. Or we can bring in Teuvo Teravainen because he wants $15 million. Nobody is signing you for that, bro. So I think what I'll do is I'll just throw like $5 million at William Karlsson or something. If we do that, we'll be able to reach the salary cap floor. Here's $5 million for 1 season. That should be more than enough. And then stick on the ice legend Mason Appleton. I'll throw you a massive bag as well. Here's $5 million as well. Actually, I'll give you 6.1. $4 million more than what you were asking for, but you deserve every cent. So it's another season of developing for the young guys. I'm looking at guys like Bolduc, Misa, McGroarty. If they can continue to develop, our forward core is going to have a really bright future. When it comes to the defense, Wrights and Dickinson are now playing top pairing minutes this season. I wouldn't be surprised after this season if Dickinson's up to like an 88 overall and then Wrights is up to an 85. Those 2 guys can be our defensive core for the future, but as of right now, they still need to develop. I think all we have to do after this season is go get a superstar defenseman. If we can get another really elite defenseman, then I think our defensive core will be fine. When it comes to goaltending, Askarov's up to an 86 overall. We know he's going to be able to do in the future, but we have to understand the future is not right now. 1 more season of tanking, then we take over the league. With that being said, there is a chance that that we're actually a significantly better team this season because we have a new coaching staff. Our coaching staff is significantly better, so don't be surprised if we're pushing for a wildcard spot. So I've made it clear this is the final year of the tank. This is the final year that the San Jose Sharks are going to be a bad team. We're currently 24th in the entire league, a 28-31-4 record, 2.78 goals per game, 2.97 allowed. The defense isn't bad. It's the offense that's holding us back, but we're going to make some big moves over the offseason. And one of those moves is likely trading away either Will Smith or William Eklund. Like, we just can't have both guys on the team. We can have one or the other, but I don't think we can have both of these guys. And truthfully, I'm kind of leaning towards Will Smith, so William Eklund, you might be moved sooner than later. When it comes to the defense, we're just going to keep letting the guys develop. I am interested in how Sam Dickinson's doing. He's not really up to too much so far. 6 goals and 6 assists for 12 points. He's only an 85 overall, but I can work with an 85 overall. Wrights, he's up to an 82 overall. He has 1 X factor so far, but look at Jordan Spence. He's doing really good with the team so far. 83 overall. He has 37 points. Best case scenario is he jumps up to an 86 by the end of the season, and then we can flip him. And then when it comes to goaltending, Askarov, 21 wins, 4 shutouts, a 908 and a 296. So I believe this is the first time he's had a goals against below 3. We're definitely moving in the right direction. Now, like the previous 2 seasons, we will take a look at some of the players on the team, and if there's a trade that jumps out at me, we might make something. Like William Eklund. Look at your trade value. I feel like I should capitalize on that. So here's what I'm looking at for a trade. William Eklund sent over to the Calgary Flames. Zane Parekh and Goldubin. I think both of you guys could be some really good players. Goldubin is a two-way forward, but he has 24 goals so far, so he can definitely score, and I think he could be a good player on the top line. And then Zane Parekh, he's an 87 overall defenseman. He's going to be an absolute stud. We all know this. I think giving up William Eklund for both of these guys is definitely worth it. However, can I get Calgary's first round pick as well? Like, what would it take for me to get Calgary's first round pick? And do I think Calgary is going to be worse than us to finish up the season? I think so. So do we swap first round picks? Do I do William Eklund in our 2028 first round pick for Zane Parekh, Goldubin, and a first round pick? Honestly, I like this deal. So I'm going to offer it over to Calgary. They're going to be rejecting it. We'll throw in a couple more picks, but I think we can get this deal done. I really want Calgary's first round pick for this season because I think after the trade deadline, they're going to collapse. Especially if I'm taking Zane Parekh away from them, then they certainly won't be the same team. A second rounder can't make the difference. Who do we have for defensemen? I mean, Jordan Spence currently is one of our top defensemen. He has some decent trade value, so maybe I throw him into this deal. I take out the second rounder. Is this enough for Calgary? They're saying it's a little bit low. Trading Jordan Spence probably isn't the smartest thing in the world, but we do have to realize what we're getting. We're getting Zane Parekh. So I'll throw in a 7th rounder, and all of this is going to be sent over. Calgary, thank you for accepting the deal, except they're saying no, they want another pick. So I guess I can give you a 6th rounder as well. Is this going to be enough for Calgary to say yes? It looks like it. Zane Parekh and Goldubin, welcome to the team. So that's going to be the lone trade we make at the deadline. I think we're in a better spot. If we make the playoffs, great. If we miss the playoffs, I'm perfectly fine with that as well. But the big thing moving forward is Calgary being one of the worst teams in the league. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have some great news for the San Jose Sharks. They are officially playoff bound. What really helped this season is the fact that the Pacific Division was terrible. We're 20th in the entire league, but we made the playoffs, and that's all that matters. The Calgary Flames, on the other hand, well, they were one of the worst teams in the entire league. They finished 28th, and we owned their first round pick, so we're likely going to be looking at a top 5 pick. That's amazing. Things are looking up for the San Jose Sharks. We made a lot of moves during the season. We made a handful of moves over the offseason. The future of this team is looking incredibly bright. There's a lot of really talented young pieces on this team, and all those talented young pieces are going to continue to get better. Askarov, your numbers weren't quite as good after the trade deadline, but I'm not too concerned. The San Jose Sharks have made the playoffs. They've been looking pretty good since the trade deadline. I'm not expecting them to go on a deep run or anything, but I wouldn't say no to a Stanley Cup here. In all seriousness though, 5 games at the very max. We're not winning more than 1 game against the Edmonton Oilers. I fully expect this team to sweep us. I don't think we stand a chance. We've already lost 2 games, no surprise there. They're going to beat us in game number 3, and then they're going to beat us in game 4. They're likely going to sweep us here, and nobody's going to be surprised about it, except we won a game. We won game number 4 and avoided the sweep. The San Jose Sharks really did that. They avoided the sweep. They might have lost in 5 games, but they won 1 playoff game. That is 1 playoff game more than I was really expecting. I'm actually stunned we didn't get swept. So the Colorado Avalanche are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, but we finally saw some postseason action in year number 3. Moving forward though, I almost want to say it's Stanley Cup or bust. We're going to be that good of a team moving forward. It's Stanley Cup or bust. It's time for this team to start locking in, and it's time for this team to start winning some Stanley Cups. We're 3 years into the rebuild. It's time to start taking things serious. By the way, that Calgary pick that we traded for, well, it looks like it's going to turn out to be the 6th overall pick. I'm really hoping we can get a mediumly potential player there. If not, we'll be trading up in the draft. Okay, I'm going to do something that is really cheesy, but we're going to be about it. So you see this guy who has franchise potential? I want him. Franchise potential gem. He's a power forward. This man is a pure goal scorer. I want him on the team. I can probably trade for Maddox Schultz. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade for the 3rd overall pick. We're going to draft Maddox Schultz, and then we're going to trade Maddox Schultz for that other franchise potential player. Is this cheating? Absolutely not. This is a very fair deal right here. If St. Louis wants to accept it, then they can accept it. Is it finessing the system? Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to trade McGroarty away in this deal, and we're also going to give up the 6th overall. St. Louis, are you willing to accept this? They're going to be saying no. What else do you want? Like, at the end of the day, we're getting a medium franchise potential player. So if I have to trade this 3rd round pick away, I really don't care. I don't care what we have to give up here. I want to get the 3rd overall. So who else could we throw into this deal that makes a little bit of sense? Mario Ferraro, I guess I can throw you into this deal. I don't think you're really a part of this team's future, so hopefully you're going to be the missing piece. It doesn't look like it. I don't want to give up multiple 1st round picks, but if I have to, I think I will. Or maybe we just throw the 49th overall pick in this deal. They're saying no. I'll give you another 2nd rounder. St. Louis, you will eventually say yes to this deal. I don't care what it takes. You will accept this deal. Here's the 221st overall. Is that the difference? It looks like it. So now we just have to pray that the Islanders don't take Maddox Schultz 2nd overall. As long as they don't take Maddox Schultz 2nd overall, then we're perfectly fine. And there we go. So Maddox Schultz, I'm going to draft you 3rd overall, medium franchise potential. You're an 83 overall. Like, you're an amazing player, but we have enough playmakers on this team, and I want that power forward. So Pittsburgh, are you interested in going 1-for-1 here? You give me your franchise potential player, I give you my franchise potential player. 1-for-1, I think this is a pretty good deal. I actually think you'll accept this 1-for-1 because Maddox Schultz is technically 1 overall higher. They're going to be rejecting it. Okay, we have to throw a couple late round draft picks in the deal. So here's a 5th round pick. That's probably going to make the difference. They're saying no. I'll give you a 6th round pick as well. You know what? I'll just give you the rest of my picks for this season. This should be enough. They're still saying no. Okay, you guys are getting a bit greedy. I'm offering more than enough with Maddox Schultz. He has the exact same trade value. Maybe we can throw in McGroarty. Do you guys want McGroarty back? You guys traded McGroarty to me a long time ago. Now it's time for me to ship him back. You're going to be saying no because we're a little bit low. A couple draft picks will make the difference. So here's the 177th overall. Is that enough? They're saying no. I'll give you my 3rd round pick for this season. Is this package right here enough for your franchise potential power forward? They're still saying no. Okay, y'all are being greedy. Here's a 5th round pick as well. Is all of this going to be enough? Thank you, Pittsburgh. So we have all the superstars we need now. I don't even think we need one more season of developing because truthfully, this medium franchise potential player right here, he only needs half a season. After half a season, he's going to be up to an 87 overall, and then we're going to take over the league. Now, we might have $45 million in cap space, but we can't be spending too much money, or at least we can't be spending too much money when it comes to multi-year deals. I can spend as much money as I want this season, but when it comes to multi-year deals, we can't do anything. So I think all we're going to do here is sign a ton of guys to 2-way contracts, and outside that, we're just going to use all of our money in free agency. $46 million to work with. We should be able to sign a couple superstars for one season. Now, this is exactly why I want to make sure that we had cap space. Will Smith, Zane Parekh, Sam Dickinson, Svechnikov, Zachary Bolduc, Quentin Musty, all of these guys have to come back to the team. And right now, some of them aren't looking to sign extensions. But you know what? We're going to make it work. Will Smith, I'm bringing you back to this team because you're one of our key players. Of course, I'm going to give you a no movement in that final season, and we're going to save some money. Now, exactly how much money are we going to save? I have no clue, but we might be able to get this down to like $12 million. We can do $12.5 million for the next 4 years. This is an absolute steal with Will Smith. So there we go. 12.5, you're sticking around. Zane Parekh, of course, we're going to sign you. Can we do multiple years? It looks like it. He's looking for 5 years, and of course, in that final season, we're giving him a no movement. So we're going to save a lot of money with a guy like Zane Parekh. We'll do $11 million for the next 5 years. That's an amazing contract. Moving on over to Sam Dickinson. He's not interested in signing, but we can still get something done. This is actually going to turn out to be a really good deal with him. I'm going to be looking at 6 seasons with a no movement. We'll give him $8.5 million. This contract's going to age really well for us. So Sam Dickinson's going to be returning to the team. Svechnikov, how much money do you want? You've been one of our key players for a long time, and this is actually a very reasonable contract. 10.8 for the next 7. So we've handed out a lot of money, but there's still 2 more guys we have to bring back. Zachary Bolduc, what are you looking for? 3.6 million. I think we might hold off with you for now because I'd like to do multiple years. And then Quentin Musty, what do you want? $4 million for the next 2. We can get this done. So what we'll do with Quentin Musty is 3.8 for the next 2 seasons. We're bringing back all the important players, but there is one other guy. Of course, we can't forget about Askarov. He's coming back to the team as well. 6.9 million for the next 2. Actually, let's make that 6.5 million for the next 2. So we just spend a lot of money when it comes to extensions. Like I'm talking like 50, 60 million. But you know what? what? We still have $45 million in cap space for this upcoming season, so let's go sign somebody to a 1-year deal. Now, right now, there's actually 2 players I'm really interested in. Zach Werenski is one of them. Obviously, I don't want to do multiple years with Zach Werenski, but what if I gave you the biggest bag of all time for 1 season? Like, I'm talking $25 million for 1 season. What's actually the most I can give you? I'll give you the most money I possibly can for 1 season. We're looking at $23 million for 1 season. You're not really interested in that. I'm still going to offer it to you. I highly doubt we're going to be able to bring Zach Werenski to the team, but Roman Josi is actually a lot more possible. 1 season with Roman Josi at $16 million. This is very possible and we'll likely get this done. So here you go, Roman Josi, $16 million for 1 season. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept that. And you know what? Let's just keep on bringing in guys for 1 season. Zach Hyman, I'll give you $7 million for 1 season. I know you're not the player you used to be, but you can be a good bottom 6 guy for us. $7 million should be more than enough to convince you to join the team. And I think outside of those 3 free agent signings, we're going to chill for a second. I just want to figure out if any of those guys are going to accept the contracts we gave them. So we'll go ahead and simulate a couple days here and figure out if anyone's going to be signed with the team. Zach Werenski, I can almost guarantee you that one's going to be a no. I highly doubt he's going to be joining the team. He's going to be joining the LA Kings. Truthfully, that makes a lot of sense. Zach Hyman will be joining our team and he's going to be a great upgrade. He actually might even play some top 6 minutes, and Roman Josi's joining as well. Okay, that helps a ton. Not only does that help us reach the salary cap floor, but that's going to also make this team significantly better. Now, we're still a little bit below the salary cap floor, so how about we give Chris Letang a massive bag as well? I know he has some player requests, but I don't care about his player requests because I'm going to give him $15 million. Actually, we're going to give him a bit more than that. We're going to do like $15.1 million and a full no movement. So even though I'm not going to promise anything to you and I'm not even going to pay attention to your player requests, I think $15.1 million should be enough to convince Chris Letang to join the team. Like, it's $6 million more than what he's looking for. You can play third pairing minutes for that price, but I guess he's going to join the Colorado Avalanche. I guess money doesn't mean anything. I mean, at the end of the day, we really didn't need another defenseman, so Chris Letang not joining the team's not the end of the world. I do believe we have to spend a little bit more money, so Justin Brazeau, how about I give you $7 million? I'll give you $7 million just so we can reach the salary cap floor. I don't even think you're going to play for me. You're likely going to be a healthy scratch, but here's $7 million. Just because you're a stick on the ice legend. So last season, the standard was set. It's playoffs moving forward for the San Jose Sharks. But outside of us making the playoffs, it's Stanley Cup or bust moving forward. This is the best the team's ever looked. All the young players have developed, and I think we're ready to take over the NHL. The defense is looking amazing now. The forward core is amazing. Ashcroft, you're an 86 overall with medium start potential. I know you can be the guy for us. I've seen it in the past. Now it's time for everyone to get on the same page. We're going for a Stanley Cup this season. Nothing less. Now, after a handful of tough years, San Jose's here, second in the entire league, a 39-14-9 record, 3.35 goals per game, 2.71 allowed, one of the best offensive and one of the best defensive. The Sharks are here and they're ready to start winning Stanley Cups. Macklin Celebrini, 70 points, Svechnikov, 66, Zane Prek, 49, Will Smith, 47, Andronov, only 39 points so far this season, 19 goals and 20 helpers. However, this is his rookie campaign. He's already up to an 89 overall. I can guarantee you he's going to be a superstar next season. And then when it comes to goaltending, Ashcroft, 35 wins, 7 shutouts, a 917, a 265, the best numbers so far of his career. I don't think we really have to do too much at the trade deadline. Like, we're one of the best teams in the entire league right now. We've made a lot of trades over the last couple of years to the point where we don't have that many assets remaining. So I don't think we make any trades. I think we just stick with the team that we have. So we won't make any moves at the trade deadline. We'll just get ready for the postseason and get ready to win a Stanley Cup. So to finish out the season, the San Jose Sharks have set the standard moving forward. The President's Trophy every year moving forward. A 52, 20, and 10 record, 3.29 goals per game, 2.65 allowed. We are dominating. The San Jose Sharks are flying right now, and Macklin Celebrini is leading the way with 86 points. Svechnikov 83, Will Smith 64, Zane Prek 62, Roman Josi 61. I'm a little bit concerned because Roman Josi won't be back here next season. Maybe we need to find a way to re-sign him. Andronov was amazing, Goldobin was amazing. This team just looked great from top to bottom, including Ashcroft, who posted 45 wins, 9 shots, a 918, a 257. I can only assume he won the Vezina this season, but there's a trophy more important than the Vezina, and that's the Stanley Cup. We're taking on the Dallas Stars in the first round. This could be a little tough. Last season when we were in the playoffs, we took on the Edmonton Oilers and we were only able to win 1 game. Now we're the President's Trophy winners, so I'm expecting more than 1 win. With that being said, we are taking on the Dallas Stars, and the Dallas Stars are a very good team. I don't care if they're a wildcard team. The Stars are still a really good team. We're taking Game 3 and game 4 away from them, so we've evened up this series. Game 5 is the most important. We have to find a way to win game number 5 and then move on to game 6. But that's not going to be happening. We're dropping game number 5 in overtime. Now we need to win game 6. I was hoping game 6 was going to be an elimination game for the Dallas Stars, not the San Jose Sharks, but here we are. It was a scoreless first period, so moving into the second, we need to take the lead, but we're not going to be doing that. It's a tie game entering the third. I need some of the big time performers to step up for us, and that's just not happening. I mean, Kiefer Sherwood stepped up for us because this game is going to be tied, but we're going to need an even bigger player to step up in overtime, and who is that going to be? Zach Hyman's picking up the OT winner, and we're moving on to game 7. So just when you thought the San Jose Sharks were down and out, here we are in game number 7, a must-win game for us. Zane Prek's going to start the goal scoring off in the first period. Lavoie is going to be responding in the second, though, so we need to find a way to win the third period. Can we do that? It looks like it, because Zane Prek's picking up the lone goal. He's picking up his second of the game, and that's going to be the difference maker, so we're moving on to the second round. Now, I just want to remind everyone, Dallas was a wildcard team, and a wildcard team did put a lot of pressure on us. However, they are the Dallas Stars. We can't sleep on them. We're moving into the second round to take on the Edmonton Oilers. The Sharks are looking to get their revenge, and I think they're going to be able to do so. 7 goals in game number 1 is amazing. The offense is flying right now. We have a 3-0 series lead, and we're going to end up sweeping the Edmonton Oilers. We're moving on to the conference finals. Now, who are we going to meet in the conference finals? It could be the Chicago Blackhawks, but I guess that's not the case. We have the Colorado Avalanche instead. Now, we have to remember, they have Nathan McKinnon, they still have Cale Makar, so they're going to be a very tough team. We're winning game number 2, but we've lost the other 3. We're down 3-1 in the series. We have a huge hill to climb, and it starts in game number 5, but we're losing another game in overtime. All 4 of the games that we lost were in overtime. We lost 4 overtime games in a 5-game series. That's a tough look. If this team could have just figured out a way to score that additional goal, we could have been in the Stanley Cup final, and we probably could have won a Stanley Cup. But every time we made it to overtime, we ended up allowing that extra goal, and because of that, we're losing in the conference finals. The San Jose Sharks are not Stanley Cup champions quite yet, but you know what? We're setting ourselves up for the future. We have to remember, a majority of the players on this team are still incredibly young, so it's not like we're really going to be losing anyone over the offseason. We are going to be losing Roman Josi, and he was a key player for us, and we're likely going to be losing Zach Hyman. However, outside those 2 guys, the rest of this team is incredibly young, and we actually have a Zach Hyman replacement. His name is Belchez. Belchez is in the AHL right now. He's going to be making the jump next season. Also, Ashcroft, these are incredible numbers. I'm sorry we couldn't score an additional goal for you. Speaking of Ashcroft, I should check and see if he won the Vezina, because bro definitely deserved it with how he played. Andronov's going to be taking home the Calder this season. Shout out to him. Goldobin ended up winning the Calder last season. I forgot to shout him out. But when it comes to the Vezina, of course, that's going to be Ashcroft. I think we knew he was going to be taking it home. Now, we saw a lot of success last season, but now it's time to build on that. And a great way to build on it is getting elite potential players in the draft, and that's exactly what we got. A medium elite potential goaltender. This is a great start, and it turns out that start is exactly where it's going to end. We would get one more medium start potential goaltender, but that's it, because we only had 3 picks. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, we have a decent chunk of cap space to work with, $29 million. So Zachary Bolduc, I can 100% do a 1-year deal. Normally, I wouldn't give you $4 million for 1 season, but considering how much money we have, I can definitely do that. Wenberg, you're going to be walking. Same with Roman Josi. Justin Brazeau, I gave you $7 million last season, so I don't need to bring you back to the team anymore. Cardwell, I guess I can bring you back to the team. You want 2.3 million. How about we do 2.2 for the next 2? You can continue to play some good bottom 6 minutes for me. Zach Hyman's going to be leaving the team. Bystead, we're probably looking at a 2-way contract with you, and that's exactly what we're looking at. And then with everyone else, we're probably looking at pretty cheap deals. So yeah, I'm not going to show these contracts. It's just guys like Jack Thompson getting $875K for 2 years. Now, part of the reason we didn't spend too much money during the re-sign phase is because we have to handle a lot of money right here. Goldubin, we're going to be looking at around $10 million for the next 4 years, but I think you've earned every cent. However, we're actually going to do more than that. I'm going to give you 5 years because I'm also going to give you no movement. We'll do 10.3 for the next 5 seasons. I think that's an amazing deal. You're turning out to be one of our best players. And then Shakir Mukmadulin, you have turned into an absolute stud, an 86 overall. So this contract right here, an absolute steal. We'll do $6 million for the next 5. I have no issue with that contract whatsoever. I think it's actually going to end up aging really well for us. And because I didn't give him a no movement, in his final season, we could trade him away if we want. Moving on over to Michael Misa, he's looking for $4.5 million on a 1-year deal. I don't actually hate that deal that much, but how about we save a little bit of money? Here's 4.3 for 1 season. And then Wrights, we have to bring you back as well. 10.2 for 2 seasons. no, you're bugging. We're holding off with your extension. If you keep looking for that much money, we're going to be moving on from you sooner than later. Also, it's time for Ravensburg to get an extension. Here's $825K for the next 2 years. He's an 81 overall backup. He actually might end up being our starter sooner than later. Okay, this is an interesting deal. Marchenko for 1 season at $9.7 million. So I'm going to give him that deal and he's going to join the team immediately. He's going to be our second line sniper. I didn't actually plan on bringing Marchenko to the team, but once I saw that price, I thought we had to bring him in. To me, it's a no-brainer because I think there's actually a good chance that Marchenko ends up sticking around longer than 1 season. We're probably going to end up giving him an extension after this season. Now, I think that Marchenko signing is really going to be the only thing we do over the offseason. We're basically going to be running him back with the majority of the same team, but considering we won the President's Trophy last season, why would we really change anything? So the San Jose Sharks are looking incredible heading into this upcoming season. Just look at this top 9, 0 weaknesses. When looking at the defense, 0 weaknesses. And then when looking at goaltending, 0 weaknesses. If the San Jose Sharks don't have any weaknesses, who's going to stop them? I also feel like we've reached the point of the video where we're no longer going to be stopping at the trade deadline. There's no moves I want to make with this team. The team we have right now is the team I want to stick with, so let's just simulate the entire year. Now, I guess you could say the Sharks took a bit of a step back this season. 4th in the entire league, a 48, 24, and 10 record, but I still believe in this team. At the end of the day, we're still a really good team. I was kind of hoping the defense would be slightly better, but Mac and Celebrini picked up 100 points, so who cares about the defense? The forward core is incredible. The plus minuses are looking really good. You know what? Who am I to question this team? The boys are flying right now. Everyone's locked down to amazing contracts. We have no concerns. As long as we can win a Stanley Cup in the next couple years, the Sharks are going to be looking like a future dynasty. We have the Vancouver Canucks in the first round, and normally I wouldn't be scared of the Vancouver Canucks. However, they have one man, and that man is not Thatcher Demko, but instead, Jet Greaves. So we need to be locked in like never before. Like you are going against Jet Greaves, one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest. Okay, I'm gassing him up a little bit too much, but Jet Greaves is a stick on the ice legend, and he is just a legend in general. So far, we've been able to take 1 game away, but that is not a good sign. Or at least it wasn't a good sign until we won this game right here, because we were down 2-1 at one point. It's a best of 3 moving forward, with the most important game being game number 5. We need to win game 5, and it looks like the offense is woken up. The defense hasn't been spectacular by any means, but the offense is winning us games, and it's going to allow us to move on to the second round. Yeah, through those first 3 games, I was losing confidence in the Sharks, but after that, they've completely turned it up. The team is looking amazing, and it looks like the offense is going to keep on rolling. 6 goals in game number 1 is amazing. A sweep over the Edmonton Oilers, yeah, we're not stopping anytime soon. The San Jose Sharks are currently 8-2 in the postseason. They are absolutely flying, but now we have to take on the Dallas Stars, and one thing we have to know about the Dallas Stars is they're always going to put up a fight. Through the first 4 games, we split the series with the Dallas Stars. Game number 5 is the most important. Can we take the lead in the series? Yes, we can. We are 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final. Can we make it there? Well, not without game 7. So it all comes down to game 7. Game 7 is going to decide who makes it to the Stanley Cup final. Is it going to be the Dallas Stars or is it going to be the San Jose Sharks? Well, Sam Steele is going to start off the goal scoring. Moving into the second, why have we not scored yet? We need a big time third period coming up. We just lost 4-0. We're going to pretend this didn't happen. Ain't no way for the second year in a row we have now lost in the conference finals. We should have won the Stanley Cup this season, but instead we're losing in 7 games to the Dallas Stars, who are probably going to lose to the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Stanley Cup final, because why wouldn't that happen? We can't lose to the eventual Stanley Cup champs. No, we have to lose to the team that lost to the eventual Cup champs. Once again, the San Jose Sharks were 1 game away from making it to the Stanley Cup final. We were 1 game away with some amazing offense. Was it the goaltending that held us back? I think it was goaltending and defense. Ascroft, 11 wins, 1 shutout, a 910 to 283. The defense wasn't there. The goaltending wasn't there. The offense certainly was, though, because we were putting pucks in the back of the net, but I guess it's just not good enough. The San Jose Sharks are falling in the conference finals once again, but of course, we will be back. We have 20 years left in the rebuild. The first 5 are complete, but we have to remember the first 3 years of this video, they were strictly rebuilding. We've really only been competing over the past 2 years, and in the past 2 years, we've made to back-to-back conference finals appearances. We've lost in game 7 of the conference finals in back-to-back years. These are the low points for our team. Moving forward, we're going to win some cups. Now, I think we just got ourselves a superstar goaltender in the second round. Galvis is starting off as a 47 overall, but the one thing about him is he's also a gem, a medium-league potential gem in the second round. I have very high expectations for him. Also, I just want to point out there was a goaltender drafted before him. Guess who is projecting the next couple picks? Another medium-league potential goaltender. I was kind of hoping we would have 3 straight medium-league potential goaltenders selected. We're going to have to wait until the first pick of the 3rd round to see Cunning. Now, after drafting that medium-league Stanley potential goaltender. The draft hasn't been looking too good for us. However, we did just get a lowly potential player in the 6th round, so maybe we found a late gem. So we made it to the re-sign phase, and this is what we're looking at. Marchenko, I do want to bring you back to the team. I think you've been a great player for us, and I think this is an amazing deal. We're looking at $10 million for the next 6 seasons. With this deal right here, our top 6 is complete for the near future. I don't think we're going to be changing any of the players in our top 6. All of them are going to be sticking around. Rights, this is way more reasonable. This is what I've been looking for. We'll do 6.2 for the next 3 years. Him and Marchenko will come back to the team. When it comes to everyone else, they're going to be walking because we won't have the cap space. Zachary Bolduc, I'm sorry, but you can't come back to the team. We don't have the money for you. Holtonen, we can keep you around at 1.2 million, but everyone outside of you probably going to be walking unless they sign 2-way contracts. All right, I'm going to keep it a $150 with you. Moving forward, our bottom 6 is probably going to be very weak because I don't know how we're going to have enough money for everyone. Andronov, of course, I have to bring you back to the team. Could I do 8 years with a no movement? I know the no movement is going to get your contract interest up quite a bit. I'll do 12 million for the next 8. I don't think that's quite going to be enough. I guess I could make a promise to you, but last time I tried doing a negotiation involving player requests and all that, it did not work out for us. We ended up being in a really bad spot. So we'll do 12.5 for the next 8 seasons for Andronov. He's going to be returning to the team. Belchez, I'll sign you at a later date. Michael Misa, you're probably leaving the team. Quentin Musty, you're probably leaving the team as well. We're going to go on one more deep run with all of these guys right here, but more than likely all of these RFAs are going to be gone next season. Another guy who could potentially be gone is Askarov. We do have another young goaltender in the system. I'm going to hold off with an Askarov extension. We'll see what happens. You know what? I'm completely bugging. Askarov, we are bringing you back to the team because I forgot there's somebody we're supposed to trade away. Owen Tippett. We're moving Owen Tippett and we're going to free up like $6.5 million. So I don't really care what we get here. In reality, I probably only want draft picks. So Buffalo, how about you give me 2 third-rounders? So that frees up 6.2 million. Now that we've done that, Askarov, you will come back to the team because we'll have the money for you. So there we go. Problem solved. Askarov, you're coming back to the team. $6 million with no movement. I think that's an incredible deal. So here you go, Askarov. You're returning to the team. That's less money than what you're getting paid right now. So we're running it back with basically the exact same team, but I don't have any issues with this team. We have a really strong forward core, a really strong defense, and then really strong goaltending. What more could I really ask for? Everyone's under contract for multiple years too. I'm not concerned in the slightest. It's only a matter of time before this San Jose Sharks team wins because there's too much talent for this team to lose all the time. With that being said, look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. So yeah, if we don't win a Stanley Cup in the next couple years, I might be a little bit concerned. Now I do believe the Sharks had a better record this season, but it doesn't matter. 6th in the entire league, a 51-26-5 record. I'm not going to complain about being 6th in the entire league with 51 wins. Like if you win 51 games and end up 6th in the entire league, that's just the way she goes. Nothing you can do about that. I'm not going to complain. The team looks amazing. No weaknesses. Will Smith was -2. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Quentin Musty was -24. Okay, we're probably moving on from Quentin Musty next season. I mean, truthfully, when it comes to the bottom 6, we're moving on from a handful of guys. When it comes to goaltending, Askarov did his thing this season. I'm never really worried about goaltending. I know he's going to step up time and time again. We have the Vancouver Canucks and Jet Greaves once again in the first round. We know what we have to do. So let's just keep this simple against the Vancouver Canucks. 4 straight victories and then we can move on to the second round. I'm not looking to play around with this team. I want to beat them and move on. Unfortunately though, that's not going to be the case here. We did lose game number 3 in overtime, but that's fine. We're going to win game number 5 and we're going to move on. So it wasn't a sweep over the Vancouver Canucks, but it was the next best thing, taking them down in 5 games. We have the Edmonton Oilers once again in the second round. We know Edmonton's always going to put some pressure on us. We're winning game number 1 and we're winning game number 3. We have a 3-1 series lead. The only reason we didn't sweep Edmonton is because we lost game number 2. And I'm a little bit concerned with this team always losing in overtime. The 2 losses so far in the postseason have both come in overtime. Why do we lose in overtime all the time? I have no clue. But we've made to the conference finals for the 3rd year in a row. We have the Dallas Stars in the conference finals once again. We need to find a way to get past the Dallas Stars. We lost in overtime. All 3 losses have come in overtime. We better not lose any more games. We have now dropped back-to-back games. Do not lose 3 in a row. We're not losing 3 in a row, and we finally made it to the Stanley Cup final, and the only team in front of us is the New Jersey Devils. So it's a best of 7 to decide the Stanley Cup. Can we take down the New Jersey Devils and hoist the Stanley Cup? Well, we're about to find out. We won game number 1, and we dropped back-to-back games. Please tell me it isn't 3 in a row. Okay, things are not looking good for the San Jose Sharks. We need to make a big-time comeback, and it has to start right now. Game number 5 is a must win. Every game moving forward is a must win. We need to start winning some games. Zane Parekh picked up a goal in the first period, but the second period was a scoreless one. Can we find a way to close out this game right here? It doesn't look, you're kidding me.
We're losing. We lost. It's over. Yep, it's over. We allowed a goal with 2 seconds left. 2 seconds left in the game, and Nico Hischier scored that goal. Graf, I am amazed that you scored a goal to win us that game. Like, it doesn't make sense. That game should have been a loss for us. After allowing a goal with 2 seconds left, everyone loses games like that. But I mean, allowing a goal with 2 seconds left isn't the worst thing in the world. Like, imagine allowing a goal with 1.6 seconds left. Like, me personally, I wouldn't do that. We allowed 6 in this one, so we're losing. So yeah. Also, I want to point out, Askarov allowed a goal with 5 seconds left. That goal didn't mean anything, but he allowed a goal with 2 seconds left and 5 seconds left. What's with this man collapsing in the final couple seconds? Yeah, but San Jose, be a real team. Lose with 1.6 seconds left. Not 2 seconds or 5 seconds. But at the end of the day, the postseason's over and the San Jose Sharks are once again not winning a Stanley Cup, falling in the Stanley Cup final. That was a tough one. Zane Parekh, Andronov, Macklin, Celebrini, Svechnikov, all of you guys were picking up a ton of goals. When it comes to the goaltending, it just wasn't good enough. Askarov, you can't be allowing 3 goals per game. It's as simple as that. Don't allow 3 goals per game. If you don't allow 3 goals per game, we would have a Stanley Cup right now. The New Jersey Devils are Stanley Cup champions. We've made it to 3 straight conference finals. We finally made it to our first Stanley Cup final appearance, but we're going to be starting off 0-1. That was a tough loss early in the video, but that better not continue. We better start picking it up here. We got to start winning some Stanley Cups. All right, so we're well aware that a couple players are going to be leaving the team. Michael Misa is not going to be returning, but on top of Michael Misa, Quentin Musty's probably not coming back to the team as well. So with that being said, Julius Patrick and Solani, both of you guys I think would be good players for us. So we're going to try to trade for both of you. Obviously, I'm not going to try to trade for the pick because that's not going to happen, but I could probably trade for the player. So Solani, you're starting off as an 82 overall. I think there's a universe in which we get that deal done. And then when it comes to the Ottawa Senators, they're going to be selecting Patrick. We can get him as well. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Quentin Musty in the 31st overall sent over to the Seattle Kraken. Solani, is that going to be enough for you? It doesn't look like it. I will give you a 2nd round pick as well. Hopefully that's going to make the difference. They're still saying no. I can give you another 2nd round pick on top of that. I'm okay with trading a lot of picks away so we can get these 2 players. Unfortunately, this package right here isn't going to be enough. We might have to do a 3-team trade. All right, so here's what we're going to start with. Michael Misa and Quentin Musty both sent over to the Ottawa Senators. We're going to be bringing in Julius Patrick. Of course, he's going to be a great centerman for us in the future. Hopefully this is going to be enough. They're interested in Quentin Musty, but not really Michael Misa. All right, I think we can still get this done. So what if I give you the 31st overall and the 63rd as well? Is this a fair package for Ottawa? They're going to be saying no, but we're very close. We're getting this one done. So I'll give you the 223rd as well, and we're going to be bringing in Patrick. And then what we're going to do is ship Michael Misa out somewhere to bring in a 1st round pick. So it turns out we're not going to be getting a 1st round pick. However, we are going to get 2 valuable 2nd round picks from the St. Louis Blues, and that might work as well. All right, so our 3-team trade is now turned to a 4-team trade. We're trying to get the 19th overall pick from the Philadelphia Flyers. They're going to be rejecting this package right here. I'll give you the 95th overall pick as well. Hopefully that's enough to make the difference. Perfect. Now we're going to throw a huge deal at the Seattle Kraken, and we are going to pray they accept this. Yeah, so remember how I said it was a 4-team trade? Make it a 5-team trade. Yeah, we are throwing every draft pick imaginable at the Seattle Kraken now. I have tried to get this trade done multiple different times, and it's basically been impossible every other time until now. I think we finally have the package. I think this is going to be enough for Solani. We are throwing the biggest bag at them imaginable. Please say yes to this deal. Finally, we finally got it done. We're not doing any drafting this season, but at the end of the day, we did just acquire 2 top 5 picks. We have $7 million in cap space, and Belchez is one guy that needs a deal. This is actually turning out to be a really good contract. We're going to do $2.6 million for the next 2 seasons. Actually, I'll make that 2.7 just to be sure. So Belchez is going to be coming back to the team. Cardwell, I think, is going to be leaving. Yeah, he wants $4.3 million. We definitely can't do that. Klingberg, I can definitely keep you around, though. How about we do 2 years at $1.3 million? Maybe we can do 3 years. 3 years with him honestly wouldn't be that bad. He's going to be a cheap 4th line player. Here's 1.5. That's an absolute steal. Jack Thompson, I'd like to keep you around, but 2.2 million is a bit expensive. But you know what? We can make it work. Here's $2 million. And then Brunick, I'm assuming we can get you for a little bit less than that. Here's 1.4 for the next 2. Now we made through the re-sign phase and we didn't have to spend too much money. Now when it comes to extensions, we don't have to look at too many here. We have a couple guys on the 4th line. More than likely all of them are going to be walking because we're not going to have enough money. I guess Ravensbergen also is looking for an extension. He wants 1.8 million, but we don't have that. We have 960K. Take it or leave it. So yeah, we're basically just going to run it back with the team that we have right now. We can't afford to make any changes. So we've made it to the conference finals 3 years in a row, and we just made it to the Stanley Cup final last season.
No more folding. It is time for the San Jose Sharks to be Stanley Cup champions. We have more than enough talent here. We just need to win when it matters most. Ascroft is up to an 89 overall. No more folding. No more folding moving forward. It's Stanley Cups only. Now, you know, if we're breaking out this move right here, we're serious. No messing around. We are simulating the entire postseason, and we're just going to narrate what happens. No face cam, no nothing. We're going to watch the San Jose Sharks win a Stanley Cup. Why did we lose game number 1? Why did we lose game number 1? I don't know why we did that. We might have won game number 2. Okay, hold on. Why are we losing games? We are not looking good right now. I don't care if we just won 8-0. We might lose in the first round. We need to lock in. Win me game number 7. I don't know what you boys were doing, but clearly you were not doing too much. How on earth did the Calgary Flames put that much pressure on us? I think we're going to sweep the Edmonton Oilers. All we have to do is win one more game, but why would we make it easy on ourselves? We have to do it in 5. So we're moving on to the conference finals. I don't even know what to say about this team. We have made to the conference finals for the 4th year in a row. Can we make it back to the Stanley Cup final? Yes, we can. Here we are, the Stanley Cup final. The only team in front of us is the Carolina Hurricanes. All I need y'all to do is win 4 more games. Find a way to win me 4 games and we can be Stanley Cup champions. Can we do it against the Carolina Hurricanes? Well, things are looking pretty good. The second we simulate the entire postseason, Stanley Cup champions just like that. The San Jose Sharks are on top. Sometimes that's all you have to do. All you have to do is simulate the entire postseason and let the boys go to work. 59 wins this season. Obviously, we were the President's Trophy winners, but Toronto wasn't too far behind us, but they also were pretty far behind us. It was an 8-point difference. We were locked in this season. The San Jose Sharks were dominating. Macklin Celebrini 119 points, Svechnikov 103 points, Andronov 93 points. From top to bottom, everyone on the team was performing, and because of that, we are Stanley Cup champions. Ascroft, I don't care about these numbers. The only numbers I care about are the ones you posted during the postseason. Celebrini 31 points, Will Smith 28, Andronov 25. These boys were absolutely locked in for us. And Ascroft, your numbers: 16 wins, 2 shouts, a 908 and a 275. I don't care about the save percentage. I don't care about the goals against. I don't even care about the shutouts. The only thing I care about is the 16 wins that you acquired this season. Because of that, we're Stanley Cup champions. San Jose is on top. And this is the beginning of the dynasty. The dynasty is beginning for the San Jose Sharks, and it's starting right now. On top of starting our dynasty, I need to see who's taking home awards this season. Will Smith is going to be our Conn Smythe winner, and that could be our only award winner. Shout out to Brandon Carlo, back on the Boston Bruins. I guess Brandon Carlo wants to return home. And outside of that Conn Smythe, we're actually not taking home any awards because Austin Matthews is dominating everything. But the San Jose Sharks are Stanley Cup champions. We're taking home the most important trophy. That's the first of many for us. Now, normally I wouldn't highlight a medium top 6 potential player like this, but he is a gem, so I do want to point him out in case he turns into a superstar. But on top of that medium top 6 potential player, I guess I should highlight this goaltender right here who has mediumly potential. He also could be a stud for us in the future. Now, this draft actually ended up being very good for us, and to finish it all off in the 6th round, who are we going to be walking away with? Yakupov. We got ourselves a Yakupov, 17 years old, low elite potential. He's also a gem. I have very high expectations for him. 17 years old is a 50 overall. Yeah, the sky's the limit for you. Now, we don't have that much money to work with in cap space. We have 3.5 million, so everyone has to walk. We can't afford to bring anyone back here. We can sign rookies, but that's about it. Like, we have so little cap space here, it's actually a little bit ridiculous. So yeah, we're signing rookies. Everyone else has to walk. Now, things might get a little bit sketchy. Will Smith, you're a 93 overall. I can only assume you're wanting an absolute bag now. $16 million is quite a bit, but I do want to keep you on this team. You're one of our key players. We're going to try to find a way to keep Will Smith on this team. So I think this is what we're going to do. $14.5 million for the next 6 seasons. Hopefully that's going to be enough to keep him around. And then rights, I don't know what you're going to be looking for. You want $7 million. I don't know if we have the cap space for you. You know what? Maybe we do. If we can get this down to 6.7 million and then we do a modify no trade, we actually might be able to save some money. So we're going to look at a deal like this. We're doing 6.4 million for the next 6 seasons. That actually works out really well. Belchez, unfortunately, you will be walking after this season, but that's just the way it goes. We don't have cap space. Now we need a new backup goaltender because Ravensburgen's looking for way too much now. Hines, I think, is going to be the guy for us. Mediumly potential. He's a 77 overall. This is an absolute steal. I don't know what else we have to throw into this deal. Maybe a 3rd round pick. I guess I can do a 3rd rounder. Actually, let's just do a 2nd rounder because our picks really don't have that much value because of how good we are. Ravensburgen in a 2nd's not enough. I guess I'll throw in a 7th. So hopefully this is going to be enough. Lorder, you can be accepting. It looks like it. Now we need some really cheap forwards. I'm talking about guys that are willing to sign for basically like their entry level deals, like Green. Green's going to be joining the team, 850k. I'll do 2 years at 900k so we can keep him around for multiple seasons. Now we do need to sign one more player, and how about we go with this guy right here, Miro Matika. Welcome to the team for 975k for the next 2 seasons. You can play your role on this team. So the San Jose Sharks are coming off a Stanley Cup. Things are looking incredible for the team. We were able to keep a majority of the pieces around. The fourth line is looking slightly different, but I'm not too worried about our fourth line. Our top 9 is what's carrying the way. Our top 2 defensive pairings are also carrying the way, but you know who else is carrying the way? Ashcroft. He's been a stud so far this video, and I'm expecting he still has a couple more good years left in him. One of those good years is going to be right now, because we're about to go back to back. Now, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we are just doing the exact same strat. We're going to simulate the entire postseason, and we're going to narrate what happens. We're going to keep on doing this until we don't win a Stanley Cup. We're currently the reigning Stanley Cup champions, so as long as this method continues to work, we're going to keep on doing it. Right now, we have a 2-1 series lead on the St. Louis Blues, but they're going to tie it up after game number 4. We can't lose any games moving forward. We have to start winning some games here. We're taking down the St. Louis Blues, and we're moving on to the second round to face the Edmonton Oilers. Now, Edmonton's definitely going to put on some more pressure, but I believe we can take them down. We've won the first 2 games, make that the first 3. Is it a sweep over the Edmonton Oilers? Yes, it is. So we're moving on to the conference finals, 8-2 so far, but now we get the Chicago Blackhawks, a team that I thought we were going to be rivals with, but we haven't seen yet in this video. They just made a 3-1 series comeback and we lost in the conference finals. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Up until this point, we've only seen the Chicago Blackhawks really dominate one season. Outside of that, we haven't seen them at all in this video. And now we're losing. Alright then. I do want to say that is now the 5th straight season where we've at least made it to the conference finals. With that being said, it doesn't matter. Who cares if we keep on making it to the conference finals if we've only won 1 Stanley Cup so far? 5 straight conference finals appearances mean absolutely nothing if you're not winning games. They don't mean anything unless you're scoring goals and winning games, and we weren't doing that. We can't even blame goaltending because Ashcroft was amazing. A 924 and a 223 with 2 shutouts. He did everything he could to help this team win. We just didn't score in front of him. Now the drafting so far in this video has been pretty solid, but it's about to get a little bit better. A lowly potential power forward, but he's already 20 years old, so I'm going to take back all the nice things I was about to say about this man. He's not going to develop in time. Also, I've come to the conclusion there's one thing that is just as common as lowly potential players, and that is mediumly potential goaltenders, because we found ourselves another one. And speaking of mediumly potential goaltenders, here's another one. I feel like this is the 5th or 6th mediumly potential goaltender we drafted so far. You know what? I'm not against it though. If these guys develop into studs, I can definitely keep them around. Now basically, we can't spend any money here during the re-sign phase, so Belchez is going to be qualified as an RFA. Everyone else is likely leaving, even guys like Brunik. I can't afford to give you this 2.9 million because Zane Parek's going to need an extension moving forward, and we need to save all the money we can. So Zane Parek is a 96 overall, and he's looking for a contract extension. Are we going to be looking at over 18 million? I really hope we're not. It turns out it's going to be worse than what I thought, $20.7 million. So Zane Parek's leaving the team. Plain and simple. I cannot afford to give him that contract. Solani, maybe we can keep you on the team. How much do you want? 7.4 million. I can't do that if you're a bottom 6 guy. Patrick, how much do you want? You want $5 million? Okay, we're losing some pieces. Klingberg's looking for 2.4 million. Yeah, this is going to be a rough season. Zane Parek, we're going to hold on to you. More than likely, you're going to be leaving at the end of the year. But we have to go on one last run with Zane Parek. We can't lose him for nothing. Also, this goalie we traded for last season now has low franchise potential. So yeah, that turned out to be a really good trade. Now we need some more players for the bottom 6 because a couple of the guys have regressed on us. Belchez, I'm going to send you over to the Anaheim Ducks. We're picking up 2 guys for the bottom 6. Wyatt Kaiser's going to play some third pairing minutes, and we're also getting a 3rd round pick in the deal. Ideally, I would have preferred turning Belchez into like an 85 overall, but we need bottom 6 players and we need third pairing guys, so that's what we picked up. Now we are going to make one signing in free agency, and that player is going to be Caden Korzak. We're bringing him in for 1 season at 1.9 million. He's going to be a good player for us. Outside of that, I think we're just going to run it back with the exact same team. Like over the past couple years, we've been one of the best in the entire league. I also just realized I don't think I showed the standings from last season. But yeah, we won like 58 games or so. Macklin Celebrini, of course, led the way when it came to scoring. I don't think I looked at any of the regular season numbers. I think I just looked at the postseason and moved on. But that's how disappointed I was in the boys. We shouldn't have blown that 3-1 series lead. Now you can't tell me there's issues with our team. We've now made it to 5 straight conference finals appearances, and of those 5 appearances, we made it to the Stanley Cup final twice. So clearly we're a really good team if we're making deep runs like that. For For some reason though, we just can't win the additional games. We can't find a way to get into the Stanley Cup final and then win those extra games in the Cup final. Askarov, I don't know what type of numbers I need you to put up, whether they're good numbers or bad numbers. No matter what you do, we somehow find a way to fold. So I just need you to do you. Whatever numbers you put up, those numbers are going to be fine. As long as the offense scores goals, we'll be able to win with you. The big thing that has held us back over the past couple seasons is the offense not stepping up when we need them to. If the offense scores in every single one of our postseason games, we have a chance. But for some reason, if it dries up like we've seen in the past, then we don't stand a chance. So basically, to sum up what I just said, don't fold. There you go, it's that simple. So the San Jose Sharks finished the season as the best team in the NHL once again, a 62-19-1 record, Stanley Cup or bust. I cannot emphasize that enough. It is Stanley Cup or bust more than ever before. Zane Parekh is likely not returning to the team next season. We're about to lose the best defenseman in the league. Like, he's a 96 overall. We're not going to be able to replace him. This team will not be the same next season without Zane Parekh, but that's just the way she goes. We don't have the money for him. We can't afford to give him $20 million, or at least I don't think we can give him $20 million. There might be a universe in which Zane Parekh comes back to the team. We'll address things later. The thing we have to focus on right now is beating the Seattle Kraken. Like, now that I think about it, I think there is a way in which we keep Zane Parekh on this team. Because instead of losing Zane Parekh, how about we trade one of our defensemen that's making $6 million? That's going to free up an additional $6 million, meaning we'll have enough money to bring Zane Parekh back to the team. Like, we don't want to lose Zane Parekh. Mook Madulin, I'm pretty sure I could live without. And Wrights, I could probably live without him as well. I don't know if we could survive without Zane Parekh. Like, Zane Parekh is just an absolute superstar. He is an absolute beauty. We need to find a way to keep him on this team. We can't lose a 96 overall defenseman. We wouldn't be able to recover from that. So we will find a way to clear up some money, and we will find a way to keep Zane Parekh on this team. We split the series so far against the LA Kings. We have to focus on game number 5, and it looks like we're going to be winning that one. So let's make it back to the conference finals for the 6th year in a row. All we have to do is win one more, but it's not going to be that simple. We have to go to game 7. So San Jose, do not lose in game 7. Whatever you do, do not lose in the second round. We can't be losing in the second round. That's not what the San Jose Sharks do. The LA Kings do have Nathan McKinnon, and it currently is a tie game, so I would say things are in their favor, but watch out for San Jose because they're about to wake up. We just lost. Ain't no way. We just lost to the LA Kings in the second round. Okay, we got to make some adjustments. We have to make some changes over the offseason. We just lost in the second round. We made it to 5 straight conference finals, only for us to lose back-to-back games and not make it to the conference finals this season. Now, what's going on with the San Jose Sharks? Like, we have been a top 5 team for basically the past 7 years now. The San Jose Sharks have been dominating during the regular season. When the postseason comes around though, we start to have our struggles, but at least we've won 1 Stanley Cup so far. But 1 Stanley Cup with the team that we have, it's certainly not enough. We should have about 3 by now. So we're going to make some adjustments over the offseason. We're going to make some trades. I don't know what those changes are going to be. Like, our core pieces are sticking around. Our top 6 and top 4 defense, I'm not moving on from any of those guys. I mean, Wrights, maybe we'll move on from you. Your 12-team no trade does kick in next season, and you are an 89 overall, so maybe I don't move on from you. Mook Madulin, what overall are you right now? It looks like Mook Madulin's an 88 overall. Maybe we can move on from him. He only has 1 year left under contract after this one, so it actually makes sense to trade him away. So Shakir Mook Madulin, we're going to be moving on from you. We're going to be moving on from a couple of the RFAs on the bottom 6. I'm talking about Solani. We're not bringing him back to the team. I just can't afford to give him big money. Patrick, we're going to have to move on from you. I can't afford to give you big money. So we're going to be moving on from 3 solid players. But you know what? It's for the betterment of the team because we need to find a way to keep Zane Parekh here. Askarov, 7 wins, a 911 and a 247. No comment. No comment whatsoever. I don't know what more we have to do. What more do the San Jose Sharks have to do during the Stanley Cup playoffs in order to win? Because we haven't been winning. Also, Celebrini won the Hart last season. Forgot to mention that. Zane Parekh has now won back-to-back Norris trophies, so now we definitely have to keep him on the team. We can't be losing the guy that just won back-to-back Norris trophies. Askarov's going to be taking home the William Jennings, and he also won the Vezina last season. Nah, this team's got to lock in. We need to lock in right now because the lack of success is honestly a bit ridiculous. So here's what I'm thinking. Solani, we drafted you a handful of years ago. Now I'm going to flip you over to the Calgary Flames for the guy that just went first overall. overall. It's going to be Solani in a 7th round pick. Then we can get another cheap player for the next 3 years. And I also think this guy's going to be the replacement for Marchenko in the future. Because I feel like Marchenko doesn't have that many years left under contract. How many does he have? It looks like he has 2 more years left under contract. So yeah, that guy's going to be the perfect replacement. But there's also going to be another guy that we're eventually going to have to replace, and that's going to be Svechnikov. So we're going to pick up this young rookie from the Boston Bruins who's drafted 3rd overall. And then he's going to be the replacement for Svechnikov in the future. So hopefully we can just go 1 for 1 here. It doesn't look like it. I guess we have to throw in a couple draft picks, but that's perfectly fine. So I'll throw in this 3rd round pick. Hopefully that's going to be enough. They're saying no. I'll give you a 7th as well. So with this deal complete, we're bringing in 2 young rookies, but they're also going to be replacing guys in the future. So we're going to be holding on to both of them. Okay, so this is actually very interesting. I was about to make this trade right here with the Montreal Canadiens so we can get their 1st round pick for next season. However, they just drafted a player 5th overall who I'm actually interested in. This medium league potential defenseman right here. He'd be the perfect replacement for Mook Madulin. So yeah, I think we're going to bring him to the team. Instead of trading for Montreal's 1st round pick for next season, how about we just bring in this medium league potential player? Yeah, that solves our problem. So then we don't have to go out in free agency and find the replacement for Mook Madulin. We're just trading for the replacement. And then with that $6 million we freed up, we should be able to bring back Zane Prek. No, I actually lied. We have to move back in the draft a little bit. I need the 51st overall and I need the 68th overall. Nashville, you don't even understand what you just gave up. Because with the 51st overall, we're going to get ourselves a medium league potential goaltender. He's going to be starting off as a 60 overall. It looks like we got Goldubin's brother. We already have the forward on the team. Now we're bringing in a goaltender. I didn't even realize he had the same last name. What are the odds? We're bringing the family together. But besides that, Appleby, you're also going to be brought to the team. Ed Appleby, medium league potential. He's going to be a good power forward in the future. As long as he develops, he could be a great player for us. Now, to finish everything off, it wouldn't be right if we didn't get at least one lowly potential player. So here we go with 156 overall, a lowly potential defenseman. So we have exactly $20 million to work with. Zane Prek, how much are you looking for? Can we get this deal done? It looks like we are going to be able to re-sign you. Yes, this is very, very, very expensive, but we're going to get this done. I'm going to offer 16.5. Actually, I'm going to negotiate with you because I feel like if I give you some promises, we can probably do something reasonable. So after a tough negotiation with Zane Prek, 17.1 for the next 8 years, I think he's going to be willing to accept that. We had a great negotiation. We seem to be on the same page. And because that Zane Prek's rejoined the team, we have $4 million to work with when it comes to the rest of our team. I don't really know how we're going to spend that. Klingberg, I can't give you that $4 million. Truthfully, I don't think I can re-sign any of these guys. We don't have the money for them. Also, Hines, I will bring you back to the team. We'll do $2 million for 1 season. You're up to an 87 overall. I'm starting to think you're a starting goaltender moving forward. I don't know how we're going to be able to make it work though, because we're going to have 2 goaltenders getting paid some decent money. Then again, it wouldn't hurt if we trade you away because you probably have some pretty solid trade value. Okay, so we just gave Zane Prek $20 million. What are the odds we also have to give Macklin Celebrini $20 million? So somebody's not coming back to the team next season. We just have to accept that. I don't know who's not coming back to the team, but somebody's not coming back. Celebrini, I'll do $18 million for the next 7 years. That's going to leave us with $13 million to work with. Sam Dickinson, Goldubin, one of you guys aren't coming back to the team. We'll start with Goldubin. How much is he looking for? 16 million. I don't think we can do that. Sam Dickinson, how much do you want? Maybe we can bring you back to the team. You want 13 million. One of you two is going to have to walk. Now, which one am I okay with walking? I'm not really too sure. Like, Goldubin is an absolute stud. Like, he has been an amazing player for us, and he fits perfectly on the top line. Sam Dickinson, do I need you? Like, respectfully, for the role you play on this team, I don't think I actually need you here. So Goldubin, we might be holding on to you. We'll just have to free up a little bit of money. Now, I think what's going to happen with Goldubin and Sam Dickinson is we're going to have to play risky. Goldubin, I'll try to bring you back during the re-sign phase. Sam Dickinson, I can basically already guarantee you you're not going to be returning to the team. We don't have the money for you. It's just not going to work. So what we're going to do is just pick up some guys in free agency like Otto Stenberg, $1 million for 1 season. You can play some 4th line minutes for me. We're going to pick up a handful of guys on really cheap contracts. Even guys like Matthew would actually work out perfectly. 1.3 million for 2 seasons. That's exactly what we're looking for. But we'll pick up these guys for 1 or 2 seasons on cheap contracts, and then we'll hold off until the re-sign phase to make our big deals, because yeah, we just don't have money right now. Justin Carbonneau, I have no clue why you're a UFA, and I have no clue why you're only a 79 overall, but here's 950k. That's an absolute steal for us. But you know what? That's not quite as big of a steal as Lindholm is. We're going to be looking at 2 seasons at 1.7 million, actually less than that, 1.6 million, 1.5 million. Wow, we are saving a lot of money. 1.4 for for the next 2. Actually, I'll do 1.5 for the next 2 because I want to make sure he joins this team. This is an absolute steal. Low league potential, he's an 81 overall. You can't ask for a better deal than that. And then we'll bring in one more defenseman, 850k on a 2-way contract. Corson's going to play some good minutes for me. I'm not expecting him to be a superstar in the third pairing. I just need him to play his role. We had to make a handful of adjustments over the offseason. We even had to trade one of our top guys in Mook Madulin. We just won't be the same. However, we do have 590 overalls in the forward core. And then when it comes to the defensive core, we have 290 overalls here. So 790 overalls between our forward and defensive core. And then when it comes to goaltending, Hines is up to an 89 overall. Ashcroft's an 84. I wouldn't be overly surprised if after this season, Ashcroft wants out because he does want to be the backup. And you know what? That's probably not the end of the world because Ashcroft only has 2 more years under contract. There's probably a universe in which we hold on to Hines and he takes over moving forward. I have no clue how we're going to be able to clear up the cap space for everybody, but we'll figure it out. Now, I decided to stop at the trade deadline and just have a quick conversation with Ashcroft. Maybe he would be willing to waive his no movement, and it looks like that's the case. There's 2 teams he's willing to be traded to, so we're moving on from Ashcroft. By trading Ashcroft away, we can free up a little bit of money. Who is that money going to go to? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm also going to talk to one other player, and that player is Svechnikov. Like, is there any universe in which you'd be willing to change teams? Oh, it looks like it. Very convincing. We can probably move on from you. Okay, that actually works really well. I'm actually going to talk to Marchenko as well, because both of you guys are 34 years old. Obviously, you're not part of this team's future, and I do want to make sure I keep the future on this team. I don't think we're going to be able to move on from Marchenko. He's likely going to be rejecting, but I guess not. Okay, we're making changes to the team at the trade deadline. We're currently the best team in the entire league, but we're moving on from some pieces. So Ashcroft, which teams are you willing to go to? The St. Louis Blues and Buffalo Sabres. Hopefully, one of those teams has cap space, and hopefully one of those teams needs a goaltender. Well, the St. Louis Blues aren't looking too hot right now. Maybe they need a goalie. I'll give you 84 overall Ashcroft. You have the cap space to take him on. Just give me a decent backup. How about you give me Cassian? Cassian, I think, could be a really good backup. 82 overall. St. Louis would then be over the maximum salary cap. Okay, give me somebody back for like $2 million on a 1-year deal. Who do you have on this team that's making like $2 million on a 1-year deal? I think we're going to go with Tumala. We're likely going to have to throw a second-round pick into this deal, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Here is a second-round pick. Ashcroft in a second. Hopefully this can be enough. They're saying no. I'll give you more picks. Honestly, I didn't think it would be possible for us to move on from Ashcroft. I did not think we'd be able to do a deal like this, but we're going to be freeing up cap space. This is a fantastic deal for us. St. Louis is accepting, and they're helping us out big time. But now it's time for us to move on from Svechnikov. He's been an amazing player, but I want to free up that $10.8 million, especially since he's 34 years old. Boston, New Jersey, and Philly, those are the 3 interested teams. Let's go make a move. So here's what we're doing with Svechnikov. We're sending him over to the Philadelphia Flyers. We're just trying to bring in young pieces. We're bringing in 3 young players on top of 2 first-round picks. I think this is a pretty solid deal for Svechnikov. They're going to be rejecting it. The 2036 first-round pick has a lot of value, so I'll take out the 2035 one because I do want to try to get their 2036 first-round pick. They're going to be rejecting this deal. I guess we're only getting 2035. We'll get their first-round pick for this upcoming season. It's not going to be that valuable considering they already have 38 wins so far, but this is a great deal for us. Maybe we're not getting any first-round picks. It's going to be Svechnikov for these 3 players. This is a good deal for us because it helps us free up a lot of money. Is our team actually better at the end of the day? I don't think so, but we need to free up money because Goldobin, I do need to bring you back to the team next season. On top end though, we do need to bring back our low franchise potential goaltender. Marchenko, you're willing to go to Buffalo or St. Louis? We'll move you to one of those teams. So this is what we're going to do with Marchenko. I'm going to send him over to the Buffalo Sabres. Preedham and Will Cooley are both going to be acquired. We're only bringing in Will Cooley so we can make the contracts work. Marchenko's an 87 overall, but Will Cooley is like an 85 or something. So yeah, it's not really that much of a fall off. Preedham's going to be a good player for the bottom 6. This is a great deal for us. So we freed up a lot of money, and with all that money freed up, we can go hand out some extensions. Sam Dickinson, you're likely still going to be leaving the team, but you know what? That's perfectly fine. So we'll try to hand out some extensions. Goldman, I do want to bring you back to this team. You're looking for $16 million. We're going to try to do less than that, and we will get less than that. Hopefully we can get into the $14 million range. It looks like we're going to be able to. How about $14 million for the next 7? How does that sound? I think that's actually a pretty reasonable deal that he's going to be willing to accept. So here we go. 14 for the next 7. That's an amazing deal. But of course, he's not the only player we need to re-sign. Hines, how much are you going to be looking for? You want 12.5 for the next 2 seasons. Could we do multiple years? It doesn't really look like it. He only wants to sign for 2 seasons. Now, that's not the end of the world because he's definitely the #1 moving forward. 11.3 for the next 2 seasons. He's going to be sticking around. Also, we have a lot of medium league potential goaltenders. We should probably start trading some of these guys. I will re-sign Cassian though for 1.6 million. He can be our backup. Now we did something that normally a competing team doesn't do. We did some selling at the trade deadline. We sold off a handful of pieces, but that didn't hurt us too much. We're still first in the entire league with a 55-22-5 record. Honestly, I didn't expect to be moved on from Askarov. I didn't expect to move on from Svechnikov, and I didn't expect to move on from Marchenko. But just because of the way things worked out, we had to move on from a handful of guys. Will Smith's leading the way with 104 points, Macklin Celebrini 92 points, Andronov 79 points. A bit of a step back when it comes to our top guys, but at the end of the day, we were still winning games, and that's all that matters. When it comes to goaltending, Hines, 39 wins, 3 shouts, a 913 to 252. We have you locked down for 2 more seasons. The San Jose Sharks are still in an incredible spot, but can this team step up during the postseason? Can this new San Jose Sharks team step up during the postseason? Because technically we're a new team, we have a handful of new players. I want some new results. Like, I'm tired of the disappointing postseasons. Only 1 Stanley Cup so far? That's ridiculous. This team should have about 3 Stanley Cups by now. We have all the talent in the world. With that being said, we just dropped the first 2 games. We're really about to lose in the first round. We're going to lose in the first round. We might even get swept in the first round. Nah, this is a joke. We're just going to simulate the rest of the round. I don't even care what happens. If we lose in the first round, that's terrible. If we make the comeback, that's amazing. But yeah, what is going on with this Sharks team? Why are we just folding? We made it all the way to game 7 in order to lose. Why did y'all have to win 3 games in a row and then lose in game 7? San Jose, there's some clear problems with this team. Maybe I should have held on to Svechnikov. Maybe I should have held on to Marchenko. But if I did that, we would have lost some other pieces. I made the right decision at the time. Maybe we should have held on to those guys for the cup run and tried to move them at the draft, but who knows if they would have been willing to waive their clauses after the draft. We made a decision and we had to live with that decision, and it might have been the wrong decision, but you know what? That's just the way she goes. The Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup champions, the Sharks lost in the first round. We're 10 years into this rebuild with only 1 Stanley Cup. That can't continue. San Jose, you got to go on a run eventually. You have to find a way to step up. You need to find a way to win some games. Hines, you posted amazing numbers. We just decided to not score. That was all that happened. Plain and simple. We decided to not score goals, and that's why we lost here. If we would have put some pucks in the back of the net, we might have won. But you know what? We didn't do that. We didn't score any goals, and because of that, we're losing in the first round, and we didn't even win any individual awards. This season was a wash. And you know what? I think things weren't bad enough. So how about we miss on all 4 of our draft picks just to make things a little bit worse. And now my controller battery is low. So we've made it to the re-sign phase with our 13.5 million. So that means Sam Dickinson is going to be leaving the team. We just don't have enough money to bring him back. Will Cooley, I only brought you in so we can make the contracts work. The plan wasn't even to bring you back to the team. Lindros, I don't mind you on the bottom 6. You play a good role. And for 1 season, I can give you $3 million. Actually, we're going to be able to do less than that. How about we do 2.8 for 1 season? Lindros, you can return. Tumula, the plan wasn't to bring you back to the team, so you're going to be leaving. Otto Stenberg, I don't know how much you're going to be looking for, but I wouldn't mind bringing you back to the team. 3.5 is a little bit expensive, so I think we're going to let you walk. And then with everyone else, I'm hoping we can do cheap contracts. Kinglerski, here's $1 million for 1 season. You're going to be returning to the team. Matika, you're going to be leaving. I actually think a majority of these guys are going to be leaving. We'll qualify these 2 RFAs, sign a couple rookies, and then we'll get ready for next season. Basically, we're just going to be banking on all the young guys on the bottom 6 developing. Now, we don't have too many extensions to give out, but I'll be Lynn, I do want to re-sign you. You're an 84 overall. I think you could jump to the top 6 this season. And for a top 6 role, honestly, this contract really isn't too bad. $8 million for 4 years. I can work with that. So you're going to be receiving that. Lindholm, we're probably going to end up having you walk because you probably want $7 million or something. How much do you want? Yeah, 7.4. That's just not happening. Matthew Wood, I wouldn't be against bringing you back to the team, but not for 3.5 million. Justin Carbonneau will probably ride your contract unless you're willing to sign another 2-way deal. And it looks like that's the case. So yeah, you can return. And you know what? I might as well check in with all these guys. If they're willing to sign 2-way contracts, we'll bring them back. Now, we don't have to do too much during free agency. We just need to bring in 2 defensemen. We found 180 overall right here. Perfect. Brady, welcome to the team. You can definitely be a 3rd pairing guy for us. And then Anton Johansson, I can give you $875K for 2 seasons. You can play some good 3rd pairing minutes at that price as well. You know what? We do still have $11 million. So if we do want to bring in somebody for 1 season, how about we spend a little bit of money? Now, who is that player going to be for 1 season? I have no clue because a lot of these numbers do not look that great. However, Mikko Rantanen on the bottom 6 for like 4.5 million, that would not be terrible. Actually, you might play in the top 6 for me this season. I'm going to give you 4.8 for 1 season. Mikko Rantanen still has all of his X factors. Expect a big season from him. So it turns out we're actually short $1 one center on the team. So what we're going to do is pick up Connor Zary for the next 2 years at 50% retained. Appleby's going to be given up in this deal. Right now, he's only a 63 overall, 19 years old. I can't really imagine him turning into a star player. Like, he didn't have the crazy development that I was thinking of. Like, even last season, he wasn't even a pointed game in the US Development League. So yeah, Appleby, I don't expect you to turn to a superstar. So we're going to trade you for Connor Zary. They're going to be rejecting this deal. But you know what? I think you guys could use a medium league potential goalie prospect. And you know what? It just turns out that I actually have a million of them. So I'll give you this one right here. Goldubin. Actually, I can't trade you. I can't trade Goldubin. What are we talking about? I'll give you this prospect instead. Hopefully he's going to be enough to make the difference. They're still saying no. I'll give you a second round pick as well. I really want Connor Zary at 50% retained. He could be an amazing player for us. Hopefully this is enough. Honestly, I am overpaying way too much here. Like, this is Connor Zary we're talking about. Why am I giving up this much? You know what? Connor Zary 50% retained is definitely worth it. Did we give up lots? Yes. Yeah, that's really all I can say. I can't justify that move. Now, you guys might not see the vision like I do, but Mikko Rantanen on the second line, it just makes sense. His X factors are going to allow him to score 35 goals. Watch him dominate this season. When it comes to our defense, definitely not the elite defense you've seen in the past. Like, our defense has actually taken a big step back. We should probably address that next season. Meanwhile, Hines and Cassian, yeah, we got ourselves a goaltending tandem. I think Hines might have been the best trade of this video. Like, we just traded for bro when he had medium league potential. We just brought him in to be the backup, and now he's turned into the best goalie in the league. Who would have thought? Of course, the San Jose Sharks are going to be the best team in the entire league, but who is going to be finishing second right behind us? The Chicago Blackhawks, our ops, the team that we are rivals with, even though we've only seen them like once in the playoffs. When it comes to the offense, this team sucked. What is going on here? Look at these scoring numbers. These are not good. These numbers are not good whatsoever, and these numbers are coming from high overall players. Mikko Rantanen, you sucked. I was expecting way more from you. I was saying like 35 goals. You only had 22 goals. You only had 45 points. But Gene Bohinski, what were you up to? You are an 88 overall, picking up 40 points. Now, we got to figure something out with you, because there is no reason that your numbers should be that bad. Hines, you had amazing numbers. No surprise there. You're the one lone guy stepping up for this team. Well, outside Mac and Celebrini, of course. We're moving into the postseason. The offense was a little bit disappointing. I'm concerned. I am definitely concerned. Like, I don't know what to expect heading into the postseason. Last season, we were a first round exit. That better not happen again. We just lost game number 1, 1-0. I was talking about how this offense was a disappointment, and we lost 1-0 in game number 1. How do y'all even do that? I don't care if we've scored 6 goals in 3 straight games. How did you lose 1-0 in game number 1? It doesn't even make sense. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. We're moving on to the second round, but we lost 1-0 in game 1. What are we doing? So we're moving on to the second round, and we get to face the Edmonton Oilers, a team we have seen a lot in this video, and a team we have beat a handful of times, but maybe not today because we're dropping game number 1. Luckily, we're not going to be dropping game 2 or game 3. Can we take a 3-1 series lead? It looks like it's 7-2 in the postseason. How about we make that 8-2 and move on to the conference finals? We're back where we belong. A place the San Jose Sharks have been a handful of times in this video, but it's also a place where the San Jose Sharks haven't seen a lot of success. We're going to avoid the Chicago Blackhawks, and it looks like we're taking on Colorado instead. But if Colorado beats Chicago, we better be prepared for this team, because they're not going to be messing around, but maybe they are. We're in the Stanley Cup final, 12-2. Don't collapse. We have finally made it back to the Stanley Cup final, a place we haven't been in a very long time. Now, all we have to do is win 4 more games. Give me 4 more victories, and we can be Stanley Cup champions. We have dominated the postseason so far, and we're not stopping anytime soon. 16-2 in the playoffs. We really couldn't be stopped. 16-2 in the postseason is a dominant performance. I can't ask for much better than that. That is almost perfection. And look at the offense. I was questioning the offense during the regular season, and then every player on this team stepped up big time. We were lighting the lamp during the playoffs. No weaknesses whatsoever when it came to goaltending. Hines, 16 wins, 1 shutout, a 926 and a 202. If y'all continue to play like this every postseason, then nobody's going to be able to stop us, because this was ridiculous. Celebrini, 13 goals, 16 assists, 29 points. Will Smith, 29. Andronov, 26 points. Goldubin, he's picking up 23. No, this team was something else. Now, if things weren't good enough, not only did we win the Stanley Cup, we won the Calder Cup as well. The AHL affiliates coming out on top as well. With the amount of success the Sharks saw this season, I can only imagine we took home a couple individual awards. Let's see if that's going to be the case. Bohinski's going to be taking home the Calder. Mac and Celebrini's taking home the Conn Smythe. Outside those 2 awards, we actually might not have won anything else. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. But you know what? We won the Calder. We won the Conn Smythe. We won the Stanley Cup. We won the Calder Cup. San Jose was just on a different level this season. Now, late in the 6th round, we actually found a pretty solid prospect. Low league potential, beginning as a 65 overall, and he's only 19 years years old. So that means by the time he hits 20 years old, he should be like a 72 overall. I could see this guy joining our team in the future. He could play some good bottom 6 minutes. And then with the 224th overall pick, the final pick in the draft, of course, we have to go off the board. We're going to select this player right here who has very inaccurate scouting, but he might have medium elite potential. Medium bottom 6. We all saw that coming. Now, realistically, we're not going to spend too much money during the re-sign phase. Ideally, we spend less than $2 million here. We're likely going to be qualifying these 2 RFAs, and then everyone else is going to be leaving. Like, there's a couple extensions that we have to hand out next season, and we're going to need some extra money for those. Now, when it comes to extensions, there's 2 guys that we need to give extensions to. The first is Callahan. I would like to do more than 2 seasons, so I actually might hold off here, because I do want to lock him down for multiple years. Khabib Bulin, we are going to lock you down, and this is going to turn out to be an amazing deal. I think I'm likely going to do 6 seasons just so I can give you that no movement or modified no trade in that final season. Hey, no, that's what we're going to do. I'll give you 50% team protection in that final season. We'll do $6.7 million. That's going to be a really good deal considering you're already an 84 overall. But I guess the real question is, Callahan, are we really going to have enough money for you? Because Hines does need an extension and he's going to want an absolute bag. $16 million. Is he worth $16 million? I mean, technically, we don't even have $16 million because Khabib Bulin's taking $6 million. We really only have $15 million to work with here. Hines, do I want to give you that? Cassian, how much money do you want when it comes to an extension? Like, he only wants $3.3 million. If we did 2 years, we're talking $3.7 million. I know Hines is a superstar goaltender and he won us a Stanley Cup last season, but do I want to give him this much money? I'm not too sure. I'll see if I can get his asking price a little bit lower. Maybe we can get to $15 million. Okay, we might be able to do $14.5 million. $14.5 million is still a lot of money, but you know what? It is a bit more reasonable, but let's try to do less than that. How about $14 million for the next 7 years? I think Hines would still be willing to accept $14 million, so we'll do 14 for the next 7. Hopefully he's going to accept that. I would love to keep him around. Callahan, we'll figure your contract situation out later. Now, before we head into next season, we are going to make one trade where 2 of our RFAs are going to be sent over to Boston. Alexi Joseph and Timmins are both going to be brought in. With the addition of those 2 players, we'll have enough guys on our forward core. We'll have enough guys for the defense. We'll be ready to defend our title because, of course, we're looking to go back to back, and I don't see why we can't do that. Also, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we trade Galvis away because we really don't need him anymore. We have so many mediumly potential players here. It's a little bit ridiculous. He's not going to be a part of this team's future because we're not going to be able to afford him pretty soon. So how about we send him to Philly so we can get 2 second-round picks? The fact that Philly isn't accepting this is wild. Like, truthfully, Philly, you should be giving us a first-round pick. Now, why exactly should Philly give us a first-round pick? Well, how about we take a look at their goaltending situation? Yeah, here is your goalie. You should be willing to give me 2 second-round picks for Galvis. He's a superstar. The fact that I'm having to throw more into this deal is a little bit ridiculous. Here's a 6th-round pick as well. Hopefully that's going to make the difference. Now, y'all are wildin'. I mean, granted, the 2nd-round picks we are getting back to have quite a bit of value, so I can kind of understand it. Like, the 2nd-round picks that we just received almost have as much value as our 1st-round pick. So yeah, I sort of get it. So we're the reigning Stanley Cup champions, and of course, we're looking to win another Stanley Cup here. And I can't imagine anything holding us back. The team still looks incredible. There's no weaknesses. Hines is a 92 overall, low franchise potential still. He's our goalie for the future, and I can only imagine he's going to be winning a handful of Stanley Cups with us. The San Jose Sharks are in a great position over the next 14 or so years. I can't imagine anything's going to be stopping us anytime soon. So with that being said, let's go win a dozen Stanley Cups. Now, San Jose, what exactly happened this season? You still won the President's Trophy, but a 51, 22, and 9 record, that's not good enough. That is not good enough considering how good this team is. Zane Parekh, 93 points. Andronov, 90 points. Goldobin, 90 points. Macklin Celebrini has the fall-off begun at 30 years old, only 89 points. Obviously, the fall-off has not begun, but he did take a bit of a step back this season. The offense did look better this season. When it comes to goaltending, we know what we're going to get from Hines. I'm fully expecting this team to dominate in the postseason once again. We have all the right pieces here. We know who's going to step up when it matters. However, the LA Kings are likely going to be a tougher task than you are expecting. Now, why exactly are the LA Kings going to be a tougher task? Well, they don't have Jet Greaves, but they do have Askarov, and he's going to make things difficult. Also, apparently we had one of the worst penalty kills in the league. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what? I don't really care if our penalty kill was bad, because we're going to score so many goals. It doesn't matter how many goals we allow during the penalty kill. We are just going to win through our offense. Our offense is going to dominate, but maybe not. We allowed 6 goals in game number 1. Okay, I am slightly concerned, like the smallest bit concerned right now, because we shouldn't be allowing 6 goals in game number 1. That shouldn't be happening. Luckily, we've won 3 in a row after that. Can we make it 4 in a row and move on to the second round. I don't see why not. San Jose's woken up. Now, who could have expected this? Moving into the second round, we have to take on the Edmonton Oilers. I don't think we've taken on the Edmonton Oilers so far in this video. I just don't believe we have seen this team. But this team is dominating us right now. We lost the first 2 games, but luckily we're winning the next 2 after that. Can we make it 3 straight wins and win game number 5? It looks like it. So I believe we should be able to win this series. All we have to do is win one more game and then we can move on to the conference finals. Edmonton scared us a little bit and then we locked in. So we're back in the conference finals and now we have the Anaheim Ducks. So far we're 8-3 in the postseason. We are 4 wins away from making it back to the Stanley Cup final and defending our cup, but we need to win 2 more. And these 2 wins have to come in the next 3 games. We've split the series with the Ducks. Game number 5 is the most important, and of course we're going to step up when it matters. 1 game away from making it back to the Stanley Cup final, and here we are taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. And taking on Philly here is actually very wild, because who is Philly's goaltender? It's Galvis. We traded our backup goaltender over to the Philadelphia Flyers, and they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final. It's 2 San Jose Sharks goaltenders going at it. Galvis taking on Hines. Who's going to be walking away as the best goaltender? Well, we're about to find out, and I think it's going to be the San Jose Sharks. We have a 3-1 series lead. Can we go back-to-back? Of course we can. Galvis wasn't good enough to stop us. The San Jose Sharks back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. We go for the three-peat next season. It looks like the Sharks dynasty is starting to wake up here. We have a little bit of momentum. We don't plan on losing anytime soon. And with the offense looking this good, who's going to be able to stop us? The offense looks great. The defense looks great. Goaltending looks great. Everything about this team looks great. Clearly sticking with Hines was the right selection. I was contemplating re-signing Galvis, or maybe I was contemplating re-signing Cassian. It was one of those 2 guys. All I know is sticking with Hines was definitely the right decision. We're Stanley Cup champions once again. Hines, by the time your career is up, you might walk away as the greatest goaltender of all time. Zane Prex can be taking home the Norris this season. He's taking home the Lady Byng as well. When it comes to our Conn Smythe winner, that's going to be Goldubin. Bro has been an absolute stud. He was quite the pickup for us. And I think realistically, those are going to be our only awards. But we did win another Stanley Cup, so the team can celebrate that. We're not too worried about the individual awards. We're worried about the team's success. And right now, we're seeing a lot of it. We're moving into the draft as back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. And if we want to continue to win Stanley Cups, we have to make some good moves. And sometimes those good moves are trading draft picks away. The Carolina Hurricanes drafted this lowly potential player I'm very interested in. They're beginning as a 77 overall. So what we're going to do is trade the 32nd overall. And on top of that lowly potential player, we're also getting a medium top 4 potential player. I think Carolina's going to be willing to accept this. We might just have to throw in a 7th round pick or something. How about I give you the 192nd overall? That should be enough to make the difference. I think we fleece them. Also, because of the cap space, situation, Callahan is not coming back to the team. So how about we trade him for one of the guys who went in the top 3? But you know what? I think we actually have enough snipers and power forwards on this team. How about we bring in a playmaker? And it looks like Detroit drafted one. So Detroit, I'm going to give you Callahan. He's the better player. 87 overall at 20 years old. You're giving me a player who's an 80 overall at 17 years old. Truthfully, I think this deal makes sense for both sides. So 1 for 1 should be fair. But it looks like they're saying no because they want a 7th round pick. So I'll give you a 7th round pick for 2038. That's going to be more than enough to get this deal done. Thanks, Detroit. You made this simple. Now, we really don't have a ton of picks in the draft, so we're not going to walk away with that many superstars. However, we did get one player I'm definitely interested in. He has the low elite potential, but he was also a gem. So if you're a low elite potential gem, more than likely you can turn to like an 83 overall player, and an 83 overall player would be perfect for the 3rd pairing. Now, when it comes to the re-sign phase, nobody wants to be reasonable here. Joseph, I would like to bring you back to the team, but not for 4.2 million. Kadri, I would like to bring you back to the team as well, not for 3.1 million. So I'm going to qualify you as an RFA. You'll be leaving the team. I think we're just going to qualify all the RFAs and then everyone else is going to leave the team because truthfully, we don't have the cap space for these guys. They're just looking for way too much money. Like some of these guys are like 79 overalls are looking for $3 million. Like, bro, you're bugging. Now, Cassian, you're an RFA that we can't afford to bring back to the team. Like, you just want too much money. You want a starting role, and I don't blame you. You're one of the best goalies in the league, so I'm going to trade you over to Dallas. Ellis in a 3rd round pick is going to be acquired. Ellis is going to be a good 3rd line centerman for us. And then what we're going to do with Bentley, our other RFA goaltender, is we're going to package him up with a 3rd round pick, send him over to Edmonton. Fisher is going to be brought in to be a 3rd pairing defenseman for us, and then McAllister, he's going to be brought in to be our 4th line centerman. Yes, he's only a 76 overall, but we're going to make it work. We need to throw a little bit more into this deal, so how about I give you another 3rd round pick, and then that will be more than enough. Now, the only other thing besides extensions that we have to do is bring in one right defenseman. Komarov, you're going to be that guy. We're going to do $875K for 1 season. That's a steal. So with that signing complete, we do have to give up one extension, and that extension is going to Pohinski, and he's going going to want an absolute bag here, and I think he wants a bag that we don't have. Okay, we have $3 million in cap space. For some reason, I thought we had way more than that. Okay, so you're probably not coming back to this team. Yeah, that is crazy work. I did not think you wanted that much. Yeah, we can't do that. Unless there's somebody we can trade away, but I don't know who we would even trade away. I might seem like a crazy person. I might seem absolutely insane, but you just have to see the vision. You need to see the vision with what I'm doing. Will Smith. Okay, this doesn't shock me. Yeah, I kind of expect you to say no to that. All right, the vision was trading Will Smith away, and then that right winger we traded for last season, well, I was going to try to convince him to become a centerman. That would have solved our problem. But yeah, we're not going to do that. So on paper, this team probably looks a little bit rough. The top six is spectacular, like nobody's stopping that. But when it comes to the bottom six, not the greatest in the world. However, these guys aren't going to be on the ice too much. We're basically going to be playing our top two lines and our top two defensive pairings. That's it. We are going to rely heavily on those guys. And if we rely on those guys, well, then we're going to win games. Also, Goldobin, it looks like you're going to be the backup this season. The two brothers finally get to play alongside each other. It's a great day. And you know what would make this an even better story? Three-peating the first season these guys played together. Now, the San Jose Sharks have one thing in mind this season: complete the three-peat. We've done all the hard work already. That's winning the past two Stanley Cups. Now all we have to do is win one more. One more Stanley Cup completes the three-peat. The team is looking great. No weaknesses whatsoever. Hines, this wasn't your greatest season, but you know what? I know you're going to step up in the playoffs. We have the Calgary Flames in the first round. One more Stanley Cup gives us the three-peat. It's a known fact. The hardest thing about the three-peat is winning the first two Stanley Cups, because you don't get a chance at the three-peat until you win the first two, and we've already done that. So now the easy work is ahead of us. Win one more Stanley Cup. All I need you guys to do is win one more Stanley Cup, but you have now dropped the first two games. What is going on with the San Jose Sharks? Why are they folding now? They better wake up. They're winning game number 3, but can they win game 4? It looks like it. So we've evened up the series. Game 5 is a must win for us. We can't afford to drop that one. It is literally must win for us. Do not lose, and we don't have to worry about it. Now all we have to do is win one more game, but we're not winning game 6. I don't know how we've ended up in this position. I don't know how we're in game 7 in the first round against the Calgary Flames. It doesn't make sense, but I think the boys are waking up. With that being said, it is a 1-goal game entering the third. Please don't collapse. Whatever you do, don't collapse here. We got lucky. We got very, very lucky. You know what? I'm going to keep it a $150 with you. I think Calgary should have beat us. The Calgary Flames should have taken us down. There is no reason we should have got past that team, but there's also no reason they should have put that much pressure on us. We should have been able to take them down pretty easily. But you know what? That's not the case, and we can't worry about it anymore. We have to worry about the Seattle Kraken. We are one game away from making it back to the conference finals. Can we take down the Kraken in game 5? It doesn't look like it. Whatever y'all do, do not blow a 3-1 series lead here. We are blowing a 3-1 series lead. Just when you thought you could believe in the San Jose Sharks, here we are in game number 7 once again. We can't lose game 7. We have to be 2-0 in game 7s. And you know what? I'm not feeling confident. 3 unanswered goals are having us trailing by 1. Can we make the big comeback in the third? It looks like it. We scored a really late goal here to tie this game up. Now we have to win overtime. The next goal is deciding who makes it to the conference finals, and it looks like it's going to be the San Jose Sharks. We have some big time performers stepping up for us, and it's guys I wasn't expecting. Like the 90 overall players aren't the guys stepping up for us right now. It's the bottom 6 that was containing all 70 overalls. The 70 overalls are the reason that we've made it to the conference finals. Never thought I'd see the day, but here we are. We're in the conference finals, and we have to make it to the Stanley Cup final. We split the series. You know what? Let's not even simulate just game 5. We're simulating game 5 and game 6, because I think we all know we're somehow going to end up in game 7 here. Wow, who could have expected that? So here we go, another game 7. Can we be 3-0 in game 7s? Can we win another one? It looks like it. We have a 3-1 series lead. Don't collapse in the third, and we're moving on. You collapsed in the third. All right, we need another unlikely hero in overtime. Who is going to pick up the OT winner this time? It's Macklin Celebrini. It's not an unlikely hero. The big time performers are stepping up. So we've made it to the Stanley Cup final, and I think we all know we're going to game 7 once again. We have gone to 3 straight game 7s. It only makes sense for us to go to a 4th straight game 7. So you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to simulate right to game 7. I'm not worried about the 6 games before game 7. We're just going right to game 7 because we know for a fact we're going to have to play game 7, but maybe not. We're taking down the Rangers in 5 games. The San Jose Sharks have completed the three-peat, and that could only mean one thing. Next season we go for the four-peat. The San Jose Sharks dynasty is taking over the league now. The first 10 years were pretty rough on us, but since then we have stepped up big time. Celebrini 15 goals and 15 assists, Andronov 26 points, Goldubin 24. Nah, this team was stepping up big time for us. When it comes to goaltending, Hines, you sucked. Plain and simple. These are terrible numbers, but I guess it doesn't matter. You just won another Stanley Cup. The fact that we have won as many Stanley Cups as we have doesn't make any sense, but we're here. Also, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we took a look at individual awards. Malcolm Celebrini is winning the Art Ross. He's winning the Hart as well. Owen Power is going to be taking home the Norris. When it comes to the Conn Smythe, no surprise here. That's going to be Malcolm Celebrini. Hines isn't going to be taking home the Vezina or William Jennings. And you know what? It looks like that's going to be all of our awards, except for the Ted Lindsay. That's also going to be going to Celebrini. So the three-peat is now complete, and now we're going for the four-peat. And if we want a four-peat, we have to do a good job drafting. And it looks like we're off to a great start. A 72 overall with medium top 4 potential. That's an amazing selection with the 32nd overall. All right, so we're going to make one trade at the draft because there's a couple prospects I'm interested in. We're going to be taking a couple flyers on these guys, but I think it's going to work out. Here's the 192nd overall as well. That should be enough to get this one done. Now it's all going to start with the 96th overall as we're going to be selecting a mediumly potential playmaker. This is a great start, but there's still a couple other prospects I'm interested in. All right, things actually aren't working out as well as I thought. The guy I was interested in ended up getting drafted by the Edmonton Oilers. He is a grinder though, and I didn't know that. But at the end of the day, he does have mediumly potential, so he would have been a good asset. But you know what? We're not going to worry about that because we're just going to select this guy 20 picks early. He might have mediumly potential, and it looks like he does. So you know what? Who cares if we're drafting players early, especially if they have mediumly potential? So we're going to draft this guy 40 picks early because we know we're getting a mediumly potential gem. Conboy, welcome to the team. The draft's been looking really good for us so far. I don't care if we're drafting players way earlier than expected. We're getting a bunch of superstars. And that includes this guy right here who's also going to be a gem. Now we're basically forced to not spend any money during the re-sign phase. So we're going to qualify RFAs. That's all we're really going to do because there's 3 key players that all need extensions and they all want big money. So here's the 3 players that need extensions. Andronov, Will Smith, Wrights. I don't know how we're going to be able to afford them all. There's actually no way we can afford them all. Andronov himself wants $20 million. He's coming back to the team though. Like, regardless of what happens here, Andronov is returning. So we're going to do about $17.7 million for the next 7 years with him. Will Smith, do I want to bring you back? You're 33 years old right now. You want $15 million. Who am I better off with, him or Wrights? Granted, I can trade Wrights away because he has a modified no trade. So maybe we hold on to Will Smith and we trade Wrights away. Before we do anything, let's look at making a trade with Wrights. Wrights is 1000% not coming back to the team. Will Smith, on the other hand, we haven't decided with yet. So this is the plan. Wrights, I'm going to send you over to the LA Kings. Schultz is going to be brought in. We're also going to bring in Zinger. He's a good young player, as well as 2 first-round picks. I think this is a great deal for us. Maybe we have to exchange first rounders, but I'm perfectly fine with doing that because LA's first-round pick has like triple the value compared to ours. Now, Will Smith, this might be the beginning of the end with you. There actually might be a possibility we don't bring you back to the team. Now that we brought Schultz in, I don't know if we're going to have enough money to re-sign you. $15 million is quite a bit. So I think what we're going to bank on is at the end of the season, once the salary cap goes up, maybe you'll be wanting less money and we can bring you back. But if you want $15 million, we just can't do that. So in the event that Will Smith doesn't come back, it probably wouldn't hurt if we had a replacement lined up. And sure, I think you're going to be that guy, an 82 overall playmaker. You could likely be the Will Smith replacement. So we're going to go 1-for-1 here. We're going to trade Bohinski away and Shore's going to be brought in. Basically, we're just trading one of our RFAs away for a rookie. And we're not done with the moves yet. Now we're going to trade another 2 RFAs over to the Chicago Blackhawks. Richardson, the second-round pick, is going to be brought in. Richardson's going to be a good third-pairing defenseman for us on a really good contract. Truthfully, we're just trying to bring in some cheap players here, and Richardson is 100% that guy. Now, we do need to make a couple free agent signings. Helenas is going to be brought in for $1.8 million. He's going to play some fourth-line minutes for me. And then outside of Helenas, we do need to bring in one left winger. We're looking for somebody on a cheap contract, and I think we might have found that right here. 1.3 for the next 2 seasons. Can't really ask for a better deal than that. Now, Sarno, we haven't really had you for that long. You've only played 1 season with the team, but we're moving on from you just because we need another sniper in our top 6. And DeKaiser, I think you can be that guy. Clarence DeKaiser is going to be a superstar, so we're going to give up Sarno and 2 second-round picks. Now, DeKaiser, I'm really hoping we can do a reasonable deal, because we have to give you an extension here, and I'm just hoping you don't ask for like $18 billion. Like, you're not interested in signing an extension with the team, but can we do something like $8 million for the next 5? Hopefully you're going to be willing to do that. You want 9.9 for the next 5, but how about we do 6 seasons and I give you a no movement, but then you want 13 million. So yeah, we'll stick with 5 years. We'll do 5 years at 9.4 million. That's not too bad of a deal, but with that contract handed out, it guarantees that Will Smith isn't coming back to the team next season. Now, Macklin, Celebrini, Will Smith, Andronov, Gudobin, you guys know what you have to do. You know what the goal is for this season. Complete the four-peat. We've already won 3 straight Stanley Cups. Now it's time for us to win our 4th in a row. It all comes down to this season. The team has looked incredible over the last couple years. We have been able to form a dynasty, and we are going to go down as one of the greatest teams in NHL history. But if we want to be the greatest team of all time, we need a four-peat right here. So you guys know what you have to do. You need to step up when the lights are the brightest once again. I need amazing offense and amazing defense in the cup final. Let's go ahead and win one more and complete the four-peat. Now, San Jose, I didn't expect this. I never would have expected the fall off to begin, but second in the entire league, what has happened? What has happened to the San Jose Sharks? They have been dominating the league for the past decade, but it looks like they have fallen off slightly. Well, I shouldn't say they've fallen off slightly. The top 6 is amazing. The bottom 6 was just a little bad. And when I say a little bad, I mean very bad. The bottom 6 is the reason that we weren't first in the entire league. Like, when we're looking at the top players on this team, they stepped up big time. They were dominating like usual. It was the bottom 6 that let us down. But don't worry, because once the postseason comes around, those top line guys are going to play some extra minutes. Now, San Jose, you know exactly what you have to do. Do the exact same thing you have done the past 3 years. We've already completed the three-peat. Now we go for the four-peat. We need to win 15 more postseason games and we'll complete the four-peat. We've already won game number 1. Now we've won game number 2. 14 more wins to go. Let's just keep it simple. Let's take it game by game, day by day. Let's not make this too difficult on ourselves. We have a 3-1 lead on the St. Louis Blues. One more victory is going to send us to the second round, and then we'll be 12 victories away. So we've made past the St. Louis Blues, and we're now moving on to the second round to find the Vancouver Canucks. Now, I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen the Vancouver Canucks, but maybe we've seen them recently. I have no clue. Honestly, I don't even remember who we took on in the Stanley Cup final last season. Like, it was an absolute blur. All I know is we're dominating Vancouver. We're 7-2 so far in the postseason. All we have to do is win one more game, but we're not doing that. Okay, we were up 3-0 at one point. We were up 3-0, and now we're going into game 6. Luckily, we're not going to be collapsing, but now we have our big matchup against our biggest rivals, the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago stands in front of us. We need to beat them in order to make it to the Stanley Cup final, and so far, we split the series. So it all comes down to the next 3. A best of 3 moving forward. Game 5 is a must win, and we're going to dominate. A 7-1 victory. Closed out in game 6 so we can move on. We're back in the Cup final, and we have the Rangers once again. We are 4 victories away from the four-peat. 4 more wins gives us the four-peat. Let's get that right now. Let's find a way to win these 4 games. If we can win these 4 games, we've completed the four-peat. We've already won the first 3. It was almost a sweep over the Rangers. 1 more victory gives us the four-peat. Do not blow a 3-0 series lead. You can't do that to me. You cannot do this to me. You are 1 game away from the four-peat. Do not collapse. Do not do this to me. I could not handle a loss right here. Luckily, in the first period, we're scoring 3 goals, but we need the defense to wake up. We need to dominate defensively. It is a 1-goal game entering the third. San Jose, do not do this to me. You did it. You really just did that to me. We lost 5-4. 44 seconds left. 44 seconds away from heading to overtime. We blew a 3-0 series lead and we lost the four-peat just like that. We blew a 3-0 series lead and lost the four-peat just like that. I can't form words. I don't know what to say. There is nothing to say. We were up 3-0 and we lost 4 straight games. Celebrini had 20 goals and 21 helpers. There is nothing more for me to say. I can't say anything. We're moving on. Oh yeah, by the way, we got the 16th overall pick from the LA Kings, so that wasn't super valuable. We got a medium top 6 potential player. How did we lose? How did we lose the Stanley Cup like that? I don't even know what to say. Here's a mediumly potential goaltender, but I don't even care about bro. Also, if one mediumly potential goaltender wasn't enough, here's another one. Now, Will Smith, I didn't want it to end this way. I didn't want it to end with us blowing a 3-0 series lead.
but I guess that's the case. You're going to be leaving the team because we don't have the money for you. We're qualifying the RFAs while the UFAs are going to be walking. And truthfully, moving forward, that's going to be happening 90% of the time. Like when you look at all of these UFAs, none of them are really interested in rejoining the team. I mean, Linus is rejoining and he only wants 1.2 million, so we can bring him back. But with everyone else, if they're not interested, they're not looking for reasonable deals, so we won't be bringing them back. No, I don't think we're going to be doing too much during the off season. Like when it comes to extensions, I don't think we're doing anything at all. Albielin, we can't even bring you back to the team right now because you only want 1 season, but you also want 14 million, and we can't afford that, so we're going to be holding off with you. Worst case scenario, we just qualify you as an RFA during the re-sign phase and then trade you away next season. Now we're going to sign 2 players over the off season, and then we're going to try to get back from our massive disappointment. Salvador is going to be the first player, but we're going to be looking at 2 years at 1.7 million. Actually, I'll make that 1.8 million. That's a really good deal for a third pairing guy. And I think we're going to go with Kane, 23 years old and he's an 80 overall. What if we did 2 seasons? Let's make that 3 seasons. 3 seasons at 1.5 million. That's an incredible deal. And you know what? We might as well check with the right wingers as well. Maybe we're going to find another great player like that. And you know what? We might have. A 79 overall who's only 23 years old. We'll do 1.3 for 2 seasons. That's a good deal. Now there's one more move we have to make before we head into next season. Goldubin, the goaltender. We can't afford to keep you on this team anymore. Like I can't pay you 15 million to be our backup. So I'm going to send you over to Nashville and we're going to get Lewis, a 74 overall who's 21 years old. Right now he has medium league potential. You never know. Maybe he could turn into something. They're going to be rejecting this deal right here. I'll give you some 4th round picks. So here's 1 4th rounder. Hopefully that makes the difference. They're saying no. I'll give you another 4th round pick. I mean, at the end of the day, if I have to give up a 2nd rounder or even a 1st round pick in this deal, I'm not against that, but we don't have to worry about it. No, I don't even want to talk about last season's disaster. I don't want to talk about what happened last season. We need to move on from it. We have to move on from that huge disappointment. Hines, you know what you have to do. You need to shut our opponents out in every postseason game. 16-0, 16 shutouts. You do what you have to. Because what happened last season, well, I don't want to talk about it. We were 1 game away from the 4-peat. 1 game away. We then proceed to lose 4 in a row. Like, who does that? Now, the Sharks are waking up this season and they're back where they belong. The President's Trophy winners with 60 wins this season, but I don't care about the regular season. I really don't care about the regular season in the slightest. Mac and Celebrini, 61 goals. That's cool and all. And Hines, you had 48 wins, 5 shots, a 918 to 234. That's cool. But you know what those numbers don't do? Win us a Stanley Cup. Numbers in the postseason are what win us a Stanley Cup. And not blowing a 3-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup final is what wins you a Stanley Cup. So wake up, lock in, and get me another. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I'm still tight about what happened last season. I am very tight about what happened last season because no way y'all had a 3-0 series lead and then choked that away. Like, how on earth did you do that? Honestly, it's kind of impressive that you choked that much. How on earth did you do that? Also, why is Minnesota putting a lot of pressure on us right now? This shouldn't be happening. So let's win game number 5 and then win game 6. We don't want to go to game 7. I am sick and tired of game 7s. We have played so many game 7s in this video. We've won a handful of game 7s, but we seem to always lose the important game 7s. I know that doesn't really make much sense because in theory, every game 7 is an important game 7, but we lose game 7s in the Stanley Cup final way too frequently. And I believe we've only lost 2 in the Stanley Cup final, but that is too many. We shouldn't be losing in the Stanley Cup final. We should be dominating like we did against Seattle. So we're back in the conference finals once again, but I don't care about the conference finals. We are going to get past the Colorado Avalanche and we're going to get back to the Stanley Cup final and we're going to get our revenge. We need to win another Stanley Cup. We can't be going out in the conference finals. The boys need to lock in, and that's exactly what they're doing. We're 11-3. We're about to make it 12-3. We're back in the Cup final. Give me the Rangers. Give me the Rangers once again. I want to get our revenge, but I guess we're getting Buffalo instead. So San Jose has fought all the way back, and they made it back to the Stanley Cup final, and they're looking to win another Stanley Cup. This could have been the 5-peat. I just want to remind y'all, if we win this Stanley Cup right here, this would have been the 5-peat. This would have been the 5-peat. We would have just 5-peated. 5 straight Stanley Cups, but we blew a 3-0 series lead. That would have been my first 5-peat in history, I believe. There's no way y'all did that. Like, that's actually crazy. We would have 5-peated. For the first time ever, I would have been able to 5-peat. But nope, you had to blow a 3-0 series lead. You know what? I'm actually annoyed we won a Stanley Cup here. Yep, I never thought I'd say the words. I am annoyed we won a Stanley Cup. Because if we lost here, then I wouldn't be talking about a potential 5-peat if we didn't blow a 3-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. Nah, the San Jose Sharks
Sharks really make me sick sometimes. Like, this would have been a 5-peat. When was the last time we've seen a 5-peat? Well, I can tell you for a fact you've never seen one on this channel because I've never 5-peated before, or at least I've never 5-peated when rebuilding a team. Like, I technically 5-peated when I did that video where it's all 99 overalls on the team, but that's not really fair. I'm talking a legit 5-peat where I rebuild the team and we go on to 5-peat. We've won 4 Stanley Cups in the past 5 years. We've made it to 5 straight Stanley Cup finals. We should have 5-peated. We really should have done that. Also, we got the 14th overall from LA, but who cares? We could have 5-peated. Now, when it comes to the draft, we did walk away with 2 medium top 6 potential players, Galchenyuk and Bell, but we really didn't 5-peat there. That's crazy. Also, unless the cap jumped up like $18 million, Albelin, I think we're walking away from you. How much are you looking for anyway? You want 14.3? Yeah, I can't do that. So we're going to qualify you as an RFA, and then we'll be moving on from you. Now, outside of qualifying Albelin as an RFA, we're not doing anything during the re-sign phase. And truthfully, moving forward, I'm probably not going to show you the re-sign phase because all we're going to be doing is qualifying RFAs. If I do make a notable re-signing, I will show you. So Albelin's going to be traded away, and we're going to be bringing in a good young player, ideally like an 88 overall with term. However, if we bring in a player with term, that means Shore's likely not coming back to the team because we only have $12.3 million in cap space. So I guess the question is, do I want to hold on to Shore, or do I want to try to get somebody else with a bit of term? I mean, I guess we'll go see what's out there. I'm not against bringing Shore back to the team, but if we get a good young power forward or a good young sniper that fits on the second line, then I think we'll make that move. Okay, so you remember all that yapping I just did about 3 seconds ago? Well, everything I said, forget about, because we're doing something different. Albelin and a first round pick's being sent over to Winnipeg, along with a second rounder for 2042. We're bringing in Crooks, who has medium league potential. Now, you might notice Crooks doesn't have term. So what exactly is the plan with him? Well, because he's on an expiring deal, I'm thinking we could probably re-sign this guy for really cheap. And when I say really cheap, I'm thinking like $7 million. And then once the salary cap goes up, we might be able to keep Shore on the team as well. This is a little bit risky, but I think it's going to work out for us. The fact that they haven't accepted this is a bit wild. I guess we're doing 2 first-round picks. I mean, at the end of the day, I could just do a 3-team trade, but I'm too lazy to do that. So Winnipeg accept this deal. Now we just have to hope that Crooks is willing to sign a reasonable deal with the team. He wants $10.6 million. You know what? We can probably do this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a no movement in that final season so we can save a little bit of money. We can probably get this down to like $8.5 million. It's actually going to be more like $8.8 million, but that's going to leave us with about $4 million in cap space. Once the salary cap goes up, we might be able to keep Shore. Now we're going to make a couple more deals here. One of those deals is trading away 2 of our mediumly potential prospects, a 66 and a 69 overall. I don't expect these guys are going to turn into anything, so we might as well just trade them for Rupp and a second rounder. We might not be able to get the second round pick, but we should be able to walk away with Rupp. All right, so we have a little bit of cap space for this season. We have $10 million. The reason we have $10 million is because of the trades we made earlier. So what I'm going to do is David Reinbacher, I'm going to sign you for 1 season. We'll do like $8 million. Actually, I'll make it a bit more than that. How about 8.8 for 1 season? I want to make sure you join the team. I just need you for this 1 season. With the remaining money we have, we will go sign 1 forward. Now that forward does have to be a left winger, and who's it going to be? Well, we're going to go with this young guy right here. 80 overall, medium top 6 potential. We could even do 2 seasons with him. I'll do 1.3 for the next 2. There we go. That's all the moves we need to make. All right, so that left winger we gave a contract to, we actually ended up rejecting it, so we're not going to be bringing him to the team. Instead, we're going with Isaac Howard. Isaac Howard's going to be joining for 1 season. Just play your role. Now, at one point, we had 2 Goldubins on the team. Both of them were brothers. Well, now it's time to bring in a new set of brothers. Schultz, we already have one of you guys on the team. Now it's time to bring in another. I'm giving up way more than enough here. How about you give me a 3rd round pick back as well? Give me Tampa's 3rd round pick, and we can call this a fair trade. All right, so it turns out I was actually misinformed. This is Schultz. Very different from Schultz. We have Schultz playing defensive minutes for us, not Schultz. So yeah, it turns out we actually didn't trade for a brother. We just traded for some random guy who has a similar name. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. We're the reigning Stanley Cup champions, going for the hypothetical 6-peat. Yep, we're pretending that we're competing for a 6-peat. We were up 3-0. I will never forget that. And I'm not talking 3-0 in the game. I'm talking 3-0 in the series. Now, we're definitely past the point about caring about the regular season. We're going to pretend we're going for the 6-peat this season. Yep, we're going to pretend this is the 6-peat season because it should be. This should be the season where we 6-peat. We're going to ignore what happened that 1 year. We're taking on the LA Kings. Pretend this is the 6-peat. Like, we're past worrying about what we did during the regular season. Who cares what we did during the regular season? We only care about what we do during the postseason. And what exactly do we do during the postseason? season, we win lots of games. We just keep winning game after game, series after series. Very rarely do we lose. With that being said, we have lost back-to-back games now. Luckily, we're going to find a way to even this series up. We're moving into game number 5, and we're going to be dropping that one. We're facing elimination. We're really facing elimination right now. That's crazy. Now, last time we were in this position, we did find a way to bounce back. But why are we in this position again? We need to find a way to take down the LA Kings. We're about to lose to LA. We're really about to finally lose. After the historic run this team has been on, we're finally going to lose in the first round, but maybe not. We're not done yet. Schultz is picking up the goal. Not Schultz, but Schultz. The guy we traded for when I thought he was Schultz's brother. That's crazy. So we're not done yet. I thought it was all over, but we're not quite done. We're moving to game 7, a must-win game for us. Can the San Jose Sharks find a way to win one more game? Can they win another game 7? Well, we're about to find out right here, right now. We're going to be allowing the first goal of the game. Moving into the second, we're going to be responding. Can we pick up one more goal in the third period? Yes, we can, and it's Zane Parekh showing up once again. Zane Parekh has picked up a lot of big-time goals in this video, and he just picked up another right there. So we're moving on to the second round. We have won 4 games. 12 more victories would give us the hypothetical three-peat. It's actually crazy how dominant the San Jose Sharks have been. Like, I know I've built a really good team, but the amount of success we've seen is actually a little bit ridiculous. This team just keeps on finding ways to win games. We've won the first 3. Can we make it the first 4? It's not going to be a sweep over Seattle, but we will win the next game. Do not lose. We have been up 3-0 before and we've lost 4 in a row, but we don't have to worry about that happening. We're moving on to the conference finals, and we have the Utah Mammoth up next. Now, I'm assuming the Utah Mammoth are a pretty solid team if they made it all the way to the conference finals, but we're winning the first 2 games, but they're going to be responding with 2 back-to-back wins. So whoever wins game number 5, I think is going to win this series. It better be the San Jose Sharks, and of course it is going to be the San Jose Sharks. We'll close out in game 6, and we're moving on to the Cup final. This would have been the 6-peat. This is for 6 straight Stanley Cups right here if we didn't blow a 3-0 series lead. Like, isn't that crazy to think about? We would be going for Stanley Cup number 6 right now in a row if we didn't blow a 3-0 series lead. We've won the first 2. Okay, we just swept them. Stanley Cup number 6. 6 cups in a row. That 3-0 loss infuriates me even more. Now that I know we would have completed a 6-peat, it actually annoys me quite a bit. But you know what? We've now won back-to-back Stanley Cups. Next season we go for the 3-peat. We've won 5 Stanley Cups in the past 6 seasons. The San Jose Sharks are certainly a dynasty. We are one of the greatest franchises in NHL history at this point, but the job still isn't quite done. We still have a couple more years to go and a couple more cups to win. Once again, we will take a quick look at awards. We haven't won a ton of awards in this video. And saying that, Zane Parekh did just win his 3rd straight Norris. Will Smith's going to be taking home the Lady Byng with the Vancouver Canucks. Goldubin's going to be taking home the Conn Smythe. Yeah, there's a lot of awards that we're winning this season. Of course, the most important one we're winning, though, is going to be the Stanley Cup. Oh yeah, by the way, I checked in with Shore. We have $5 million. He's 100% not coming back to the team. But you know what? I actually shouldn't say that. There is the slight possibility Shore comes back to this team. However, we have to trade somebody. Now, who exactly am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about one man, Zane Parekh. He has been here for a long time. Look at what this man has done with the franchise. 6 Stanley Cups, 6 Norris trophies, 2 Lady Byngs. However, I'm ready to head in a different direction. You're 35 years old. You've dropped to an 85. Is there any way we can trade you away? It looks like it. Very convincing. So we're going to move on from Zane Parekh. Thank you for everything you've done with the franchise, but it's time for us to move on. So Zane Parekh, where are you willing to be traded? We have to find a way to replace you, but we should definitely be able to replace you with $17 million in cap space. The Red Wings, Rangers, Toronto Maple Leafs, one of those teams is going to be picking up Zane Parekh. Now, Zane Parekh, I want to thank you for everything you've done with the franchise. You've been a hero for us for a long time. You've accomplished some amazing things with us, but I'm going to send you over to the Detroit Red Wings. Mendoza in a 2nd round is going to be acquired. It's an end of an era. The end of the Zane Parekh era. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Also, this just ended up working out perfectly for us. We trade Zane Parekh away, and what do we get right after trading him away? A medium-league potential defenseman. Also, I do want to point out there was an offensive defenseman drafted 3rd overall. I think you know what we're about to do. So that defenseman that we just drafted, we're going to package him up with the 71st overall and a future 2nd rounder. Can we get the guy that was drafted 3rd overall? They're going to be saying no, but you know we have medium-league potential goaltenders, so we're going to throw one to this deal. I'll throw in this guy right here, 66 overall, 21 years old. Carolina would have too many goaltenders. Give me somebody who has no value. I'll take this medium backup potential goaltender. Hopefully this is going to make the difference. difference, perfect. So sure, we're going to find a way to bring you back to this team. We now have the cap space, but you only want to sign for 1 year. I don't like that. I don't like the fact that you're only looking for 1 year. I guess we can do 2 at 12.8 million. I don't like that though. I don't like the fact that you're only signing for 2 seasons. Truthfully, I'd like to keep you around for like 8, but if this is all you're willing to sign, then that's what we'll work with. Also, Doug Lewis, I'll do 1.8 for 2 years. I think that's very reasonable for an 80 overall. Now we're slowly reaching the end of an era here. Celebrini is 35 years old. He's looking for a contract extension, $15 million. That's less than what you're getting paid right now, so I can certainly do it. So Celebrini is going to be coming back to the team. We'll do 14.25 for the next 2 seasons. That's a great deal for you. Goldubin, you're going to be the next guy up. I don't really want to give you a no movement, especially with the way the regression's going. I'm willing to pay you more if I have to. Like, I'll give you 18 million for the next 4 years. I'll actually do 18.4 million for the next 4, but you're not getting a clause. That's the big thing with you. Basically, him and Celebrini are almost just switching cap hits. Schultz, you're not interested in signing an extension with the team, but hopefully we can get something done, and this is certainly reasonable. We're going to be in the $9 million range, maybe even 8 million. It doesn't look like 8 million, but 9.4 for 4 years. I love that deal. And then Zinger, you're up to an 84 overall. You want 7.6 million. Yeah, it's not happening. Now we're making one trade during the offseason. That's Richardson over to the Edmonton Oilers. Cochran's going to be brought in. I think that's all we're doing. So over the past 6 seasons, the Sharks have won 5 Stanley Cups, and it would have been 6, except for that one season that I will continue to mention because I am never getting over it. How did you blow a 3-0 series lead? But you know what? We've now won back-to-back Stanley Cups, meaning if we win another Stanley Cup this upcoming season, then we three-peated once again. That'll be our second three-peat of the video and our second three-peat in like 7 seasons. So clearly this Sharks team is onto something special right now. They know what it takes to win. Hines, I'm not giving you a backup this season because you don't need one. I'm also not giving you a backup because I forgot to get one. I guess it wouldn't hurt if I went and got one, so maybe I'll get you one, maybe I won't. We'll see what happens. So it's time for us to go for the three-peat. The San Jose Sharks are winning the President's Trophy once again. We're going for our second three-peat. Macklin Celebrini dropped to 92 overall. Time is winding down for him, but if time's winding down, that means we have to win him another Stanley Cup. Macklin Celebrini has to walk away with at least one more Stanley Cup. Hines, 50 wins, 9 shutouts, a 921 and a 222, your best season yet. And then look at Long. This is the random free agent I signed. 9 wins, a 933 and a 198. Nah, bro was an absolute beast this season. We're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round. San Jose, you know what you have to do. So San Jose, just do what you've done in the past. Do exactly what you've done basically the past 7 years, except for that one season. Just win games in the playoffs and we'll be good to go. Like, I just want to say, by the time we get to the end of Hines' career, that man is going to shatter the postseason wins record. He's probably shattered it by now, but this man has won so many playoff games, it's actually a little bit ridiculous. We were up 3-0, by the way. Now we're in game 7. We were incredible offensively through the first 3 games. We have barely scored in the next 3. Like, I think we scored 17 goals through the first 3 games. Since then, we've scored 3 goals. This team forgot how to score. Luckily, it looks like we're finally waking up. We're potting 3 goals in the second. We're going to score a couple more in the third. Okay, the team has woken up. No, but seriously, what were we doing? In the first 3 games, we scored like 17 goals. And the next 3 games after that, we scored 3 goals. That is crazy work. Then we woke up and scored another 7. Hopefully, that's going to be the one scare during the postseason, and we just lock in after that. The San Jose Sharks didn't look great in the first round, but you know what? I think we might have a bit of momentum now. 6 goals in game number 1 is fantastic. Winning game number 3 is great too. However, it doesn't really matter too much. We split the series, so game number 5 is the next important game. We need to find a way to win that one, and what a surprise. When push comes to shove, the San Jose Sharks are stepping up, and it looks like they're going to be winning some more important games. So we're back in the conference finals once again, a place where San Jose is dominated, and they're looking to dominate once again. However, they're dropping the first 2. Make that the first 3. It's over. It's all over just like that. The San Jose Sharks are finally falling. For the first time in I don't know how long, we're not making it to the Stanley Cup final. Like, I think we made it to the Stanley Cup final like 7 straight years or something. We went on a dominant run, but it looks like that run has finally come to an end. The Sharks are falling off. At the end of the day, we built a dynasty. You can't say we're not a dynasty. For how good we were, for how long, we are definitely one of the greatest dynasties of all time, if not the greatest. We had a lot of big time performers try to step up for us, but it just wasn't enough. Goaltending was amazing. Hines, I'm sorry we didn't win with you. A 920 and a 231. There's not too much more you could have done. Now it's time to start bouncing back. We have to start rebuilding the team a little bit. And what better way is there to rebuild than selecting a medium elite potential player in the 3rd round? We're off to a great start. Now, a medium elite potential player, of course, won't be the only elite potential player we're getting. We're getting Iverson Anderson, lowly potential defensive defenseman. We'll see what he turns into. Now we have 3 of our key players that need extensions. Khabib Bulin, you're going to be one of them. And how much are you going to be looking for? 15 million. I don't know if I want to commit that to you. You are one of our best defensemen, but I just don't know if we have the money. However, I think we do. If I give you that and then Shore 13 million, we could probably bring back both of you guys. And I do believe I give you this deal right here that keeps you around for the rest of the rebuild. So how about we do it? So Khabib Bulin, you're going to be sticking around for the rest of the video. Shore, if we do 7 seasons, you're sticking around as well. Of course, I'm going to give you a no movement, but I don't think we're actually going to be able to do this. So we're just going to stick with 4 seasons. So we'll do 4 seasons. We'll get this down to $12 million and they'll give you a modified no trade. So we'll do something like this. Maybe make that $11.5 million for the next 4. Actually, we'll do 11.8 million for the next 4. Shore is going to be returning to the team. And then Rupp, more than likely, we'll just trade you away for a different rookie next season. Same old usual thing. I believe last season I said I was done showing the re-sign phase, especially when it came to me just qualifying RFAs. And I think I'm also going to stop showing you guys trades like this. I'm trading for 277 overalls. I'm trading RFAs for 77 overalls. This is a very forgettable trade. So moving forward, unless it's a very notable deal, like I'm trading away a mediumly potential player or I'm picking up a big time player, I'm not going to show you guys moves like this. Now this era is coming to an end. Celebrini is the final piece from our original San Jose Sharks team we started with. We are in the year like 2043 at this point, and Celebrini is the last piece. He is the last piece from what we started with. I want to try to hold on to Celebrini as long as I can, but I do believe time is winding down for him. He only has a couple more good years left in him, but we're going to get the most out of him. Also, it turns out we're in September 2042, so we haven't reached 2043 quite yet, but we're about to in a matter of moments. Now, you know what? If we want to get back in the win column, we have to change things up. We have to bring out Old Reliable. Old Reliable is just simulating the entire postseason, commentating over it, and watching your team win a Stanley Cup. So let's just go ahead and do that. No face cam. Let's watch the San Jose Sharks dominate. They've already won the first 2 games. Amazing. One of those games even being a shutout. This team is not messing around. A sweep over Utah to start off the postseason. Why did you have to lose that game? Why did you have to lose that one game? Why have you now dropped 2 games in a row? For a second, I thought they were going to blow it, but don't worry. They're moving on to the second round. Now we have the Seattle Kraken. Seattle's going to put up a bigger fight, but you know what? I think San Jose can handle them, and right now things are looking good. We're going to sweep the Seattle Kraken, and we're moving on to the conference finals 8-2. But now we have our toughest task by far, the St. Louis Blues. You know the St. Louis Blues are going to be competing, except they are competing. Hold on, wait a minute. I was about to say the St. Louis Blues are going to be competing, except they absolutely won't be because this game disrespects them, and then they just about beat us. Luckily, we're in the Stanley Cup final, taking on the Washington Capitals. Can we win another Stanley Cup with Celebrini? Yes, we can. The San Jose Sharks back on top. I've lost track of how many Stanley Cups we've won. I think we're sitting at around 7. I think we have 7 Stanley Cups in the last like 9 years or something. I think it's actually more than that. I think it's 8 Stanley Cups in the last 10 because we 4-peated and then we lost the 5-peat. Or did we 4-peat? Did we lose the 4-peat? No, we lost the 4-peat. We lost the 4-peat, then repeated. So we had 5, 6, I don't know. We have Stanley Cups. This team has won a decent amount of Stanley Cups in the last handful of years. I've completely lost track though. We have just dominated that much. I am so used to watching this team win that I'm not even thinking about how many Stanley Cups we've won because we have won so many. Like if I had a ring on each one of my fingers for every Stanley Cup we won, I'm going to need more than 10 fingers by the end of this video because we are going to win that many Stanley Cups. That's how dominant we've been. The San Jose Sharks on top once again. Celebrini, 32 points. Goldubin, he's picking up 30. I guess I could just check with Celebrini. How many Stanley Cups does he have? It looks like Celebrini has 7 Stanley Cups, so I believe it's 7 Stanley Cups in the past 9 years. The San Jose Sharks have been incredible. Celebrini has been incredible, and I'm really hoping he has another year left in him because I would love to run it back with Celebrini once again. Like this guy is just so dominant. He has won basically every award imaginable. I think we can make the argument that Celebrini is going to go down as a top 3 player of all time because when we look at his trophy case and what he has accomplished with the San Jose Sharks, it's going to be pretty tough to put players ahead of him. Now, I was scared of this. I was really scared of this happening. I didn't think I would have to worry about it, but I guess I should have. Celebrini has called it a career. After 1,546 games played, 816 goals, 1,040 assists for 1,856 points, he's called it a career. And who is he retiring alongside? Well, Sam Dickinson, one of his former teammates. But Celebrini, why'd you do this to me? Why did you have to retire? You had some good years left in you. Look what you've been doing with the San Jose Sharks. 7 cups, 4 Conn Smythes, 4 Hart trophies, 3 Ted Lindsays, 2 Art Ross trophies, a Rocket Richard, and a Lady Byng. Celebrini, you just had one of the greatest careers of all time. I don't know how we're going to be able to respond without you. Without Celebrini, this team won't be the same. Also, last season, a couple of the trades I made involved some second round picks that we acquired, and it looks like those second round picks are actually going to be notable picks because we just got a lowly potential player in the second round who's beginning as a 67 overall. Shout out to bro. Now, I feel like one lowly potential player isn't going to be enough, so how about with the 192nd overall, we secure another lowly potential player. Riz Miller, welcome to the team. Alright, so here's the plan with Rupp. I'm going to send him over to the Buffalo Sabres. Stevenson's going to be brought in. He's going to be our number 2 centerman moving forward. Maybe I should have asked for something else back in that deal. I thought trade values were pretty close. Maybe we got fleeced. But basically, after making that deal, our top 6 is basically solidified. Even our bottom 6 really isn't looking that bad. We just got to make a couple adjustments. Now, although $20 million in cap space does seem like a lot, when it comes to extensions, stuff like this can happen. DeKaiser, I'm not giving you $17 million for 1 year. Domont, I'm thinking I can probably lock you down for the rest of this video. I'll need to do a 6-year extension. And if I do 7.4 with no movement, I think you'd be willing to accept this. But I'll do 7.5 for the next 6 seasons. So he's sticking around for the rest of the video. Pozo, I wouldn't mind keeping you around for the rest of the video, but you're looking for way too much money to be a third line center, so we're not going to bring you back. Holloway, I can bring you back for 1.2 million. And then Roden, hopefully you do something reasonable, and this is very reasonable. Could I bring you back for the rest of this video? We're going to do 2.5 with a modified no trade. Actually, I'll make that $3 million for the next 6 with a modified no trade. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept this, because that wouldn't be a terrible deal. At least we'll never have to worry about our third pairing right defense ever again. Okay, DeKaiser, we're moving on from you. This might be the easiest trade ever made. Kavasha's back. We're trading for Kavasha. He's locked down for the next 6 seasons. We'll need to re-sign him for the final year, but that's perfectly fine. $10 million for him is honestly going to be a steal. Like, DeKaiser wants $17 million when it comes to an extension. Yeah, bro's bugging. So $10 million for the next 6. I can't ask for a better deal. Kavasha, welcome to the team. Now, 2 years ago, we picked up this mediumly potential player in the draft. Now it's time to utilize his trade value. We're going to trade him alongside Lewis over to the St. Louis Blues. Molson's coming in for the next 4 seasons. He's going to be a really good defenseman on a reasonable contract. Now, I would say this is actually a somewhat notable signing. We're getting a mediumly potential goaltender in free agency for $1.2 million. Yeah, he's like an 83 overall. Welcome to the team. You'll be a good backup. Now, this season just feels a little bit weird. This is the first season of the video without Macklin Celebrini. He finally called it a career. I can't imagine this team's going to be seeing a lot of success without him. Like, we just don't even look the same. Even though like 85% of the team did return for this upcoming season, it's just different. With Macklin Celebrini not here, we just don't have that leadership piece. Alright, now this season is different than any season we've seen in the past. Also, I'm bringing out this method again because it worked last season. But yeah, San Jose, my expectations aren't that high for you. I don't really expect you guys to win a Stanley Cup. Now, why on earth would I be questioning the San Jose Sharks? The only guy they lost over the offseason was Macklin Celebrini. Well, let's just say losing Macklin Celebrini hurt the San Jose Sharks quite a bit. We've made it to Game 7. Can we win? Yes, we can. So we're moving on to the second round, and now we have the St. Louis Blues. San Jose, if you've made it to the second round, you might as well just keep on winning. Find a way to get past the St. Louis Blues here. We know they're going to put on some pressure. Okay, we've made it to the conference finals. San Jose, you might be the most confusing team of all time. So we've made it to the conference finals, and now we're taking on the LA Kings. Let's keep the winning going. Can we find a way to get past the LA Kings? It doesn't look like it. We're falling to the LA Kings. They could potentially win the Stanley Cup, but it's going to be the Buffalo Sabres. And yeah, a 43, 34, and 5 record. We collapsed. Without Macklin Celebrini, something went wrong with this team. We finished in the second wild card. That's how bad we were. We were not a good team in the slightest. We went from being one of the best teams in the entire league to 15th in the entire league. I don't know what happened. I don't know why we collapsed, but this team was not good. Sure, you were not that guy for me. Andronov, you were pretty solid as well. Our second line was terrible. Crooks, Kavasha, Stevenson, you guys did not step up in the slightest. And then our bottom 6, basically non-existent. We're missing the superstar talents of the past. And then to make things even worse, Hines, you had a goals against above 3. No, the fall off has begun for the San Jose Sharks. We had a good run, but unfortunately Father Time's just not on our side anymore. The boys are starting to fall off. Everyone's getting up there in age. I don't know what we're going to do moving forward. Like, I wouldn't be overly surprised if we saw a couple guys retire on us. Like, we have a handful of older guys on the team. Luckily, no one's going to be retiring. Will Smith is retiring, but he's not in San Jose anymore, so we don't have to worry about him. But yeah, we have a lot of guys that really didn't perform last season. A lot of players have no movements. I don't really know what kind of trades I want to make. Yeah, San Jose is just not the team they've been in the past. Now, I think one reason that we have a lot of cap space right now is the fact that I haven't re-signed Hines, and we should probably do that. He's been our goalie for a long time. I don't want to turn my back on him now. I do want to save some money though. Maybe we can do 10.5 million. I think 10.5 is more than fair for where he is right now in his career. But how about we save even more money than that? Can we do 9.8 or something? I'm going to offer him 9.9 for the next 3 years. We'll see what he thinks. Hines, you've been a superstar goalie for us, and it looks like you're sticking around. Also, Patterson, here's 1.3 million. You can be the backup. Now, I'm just going to hope that last season was a fluke and that's not going to happen again. Like, I'm going to assume this team's going to get back to being the best team in the entire league. There's a lot of amazing pieces still on this team. Yeah, we don't have Mac and Celebrini, but look at the rest of this team. You're telling me this team is only good enough for second in the wild card? I don't believe that. All right, so it seems like last season was just kind of fluky because San Jose won 53 games this season, second in the entire league. The Sharks are officially back. However, we just aren't the same team. Without Mac and Celebrini, we're not the same team. We don't have the same threat when taking on other teams. No one's scared of the San Jose Sharks anymore, so we got to change that. We got to go on a hot streak here. We got to win some Stanley Cups in the final 6 seasons. We have to show people we can win without Mac and Celebrini. Because I'm not going to lie, it would be crazy if all the success we saw in this video is when Mac and Celebrini was here. And then the second Mac and Celebrini left, that's when we just stopped winning. That would be a tough look for the San Jose Sharks. You could say that Mac and Celebrini was the only reason that we won then, and truthfully, I wouldn't be able to disagree with you. If we only win Stanley Cups when Mac and Celebrini is here, then we're frauds without him. We split the series so far with Calgary, but now we're down 3-2. Okay, this is not a good look for the boys. We need to find a way to get past the Calgary Flames. We cannot be going out in the first round. We just can't do that. We're exchanging goals in the first period, moving into the second. We're really about to lose. We're going to lose to the Calgary Flames in the first round. That is so incredibly tough. So yeah, San Jose, they're frauds without Celebrini. So the Sharks are folding without Celebrini. I don't know when the last time we lost in the first round was, but it has been a very long time. Have we ever actually lost in the first round? I think in our first postseason appearance, we lost in the first round. Since then, I don't think we have. This is the first time since 2034, 2035 we have lost in the first round. That's crazy. It has been exactly 1 decade since we've lost in the first round. Crazy how that works. But we're down to the final 5 seasons, 5 more years with the San Jose Sharks. I want to walk away with at least 1 or 2 more Stanley Cups, especially since Celebrini's not here anymore. We have to prove we can win one without him. Now, without Celebrini, things just don't seem to be working for us. We had 5 picks in the draft, and we didn't even get a lowly potential player. I don't even think we got a medium top 6 potential player. Since Celebrini left, something about this team's completely changed. Now, we have some big extensions to hand out here, but I don't think it's actually going to really be too bad for us. Andronov, I'm assuming you're looking for less money. You only want $12.3 million. We can probably get that down to like 11.5. So 11.5 for Andronov. He's going to be returning to the team. That's $6.2 million less than what he's getting paid right now. So we're saving big money there. Goldubin, we're going to be looking at a really cheap contract with you. We're probably going to get $9 million on a 1-year deal. The fact that he might be retiring on us, it's a sad day. Like, a lot of these guys are getting up there in age. They're not the players they used to be. Goldubin, he's going to be likely leaving after this season. Stevenson, we're actually going to be able to sign you to a pretty cheap deal. It's going to keep you around for the rest of the rebuild. Of course, I'm going to give you a no movement, and we're going to be looking at $11 million for the next 7 seasons. A fantastic deal in my eyes. Moving on over to Schultz, I'm looking to keep him around as well. He wants $16.9 million. I think we can get that down to $14 million. Okay, $14 million is definitely a stretch. How about $15 million for the next 7? I'm actually going to do 15.5 just to make sure he returns to the team. That's a really good contract for him. And then Crooks, how much are you looking for? You've been a solid player for us. You're only an 85 overall. I really thought you were going to take the next step. That just never happened. We're going to do 4 years at $9.6 million because then that keeps you around for the rest of the video. So with all of those extensions handed out, I think we basically brought back everyone except Patterson. I'll give him 1.2 for the next 2. That's a great deal. Now, before we move into next season, we do need to sign one player. I'm thinking Conklin might be that guy. I mean, we only need him for 1 season, so I don't care if I overpay here. Here's $4.4 million. You can join for 1 season. Now, we have 5 more years to win a Stanley Cup, and I want to walk away with at least 1 without Mac and Celebrini, but it's going to be very tough. But let's just face it, age is catching up with a lot of these guys. They're not the players they used to be. Hines, you're 34. You've dropped to an 88 overall. Hines, is there a way for you to find 1 more Stanley Cup? Like, I don't think you've broken the postseason wins record yet. You have 133 postseason wins in 200 games. You still need to pick up a handful. So how about you win 16 games during this postseason run and we take home another Stanley Cup? Now, although a lot of the players are aging out on our team, that's not going to stop the San Jose Sharks from dominating. A 57, 17, and 8 record. We're looking to win another Stanley Cup. Celebrini might not be here, but that doesn't mean we can't win. Look at this team. Amazing offense from top to bottom. There was no weaknesses whatsoever in our lineup. We can win one more. Hines, it's time for you to do that for me. Give me one more Stanley Cup. Allow this team to win another Stanley Cup without Celebrini. We have St. Louis in the first round. It's time to lock in. Although some of the key players on the San Jose Sharks are starting to age out, we're still dominating the league. Like, at the end of the day, we won the President's Trophy. And if we're winning the President's Trophy, that means we're the best team in the league. So we can definitely compete in the playoffs. We've already won the first 2 games. Can we make that the first 3? It doesn't look like it. As long as we have the lead after 4 games, I think we're in a good spot. And that's exactly what we have. So one more game is going to end this one. And then we'll be moving on to the second round. So we got past the St. Louis Blues. And now we have the Calgary Flames up next. Another 4 wins is going to send us to the conference finals. But we have to take this one game at a time. We lost game number 1, but luckily we're winning back-to-back after that. But we split the series. So game number 5 is going to be the next important game. We need to win game number 5. We can't afford to lose that one. And luckily we're coming out on top. Give me one more victory right here and we can move on to the conference finals. But it's never that simple. So we have game 7 coming up against the Calgary Flames. We need to make it back into the conference finals. And then we need to make it back to the Stanley Cup final. It looks like we're going to have ourselves a scoreless first period. Moving into the second, Calgary's going to be taking the lead. Is San Jose going to be following right here after winning the President's Trophy? It looks like it, because we're going to be shut out when the lights are the brightest. I'm confident this team's never going to win again. Since Celebrini left the team, the Sharks just haven't been the same. Even though we won the President's Trophy, we're just not the same threat without him. So it looks like the New York Rangers are going on to win the Stanley Cup, but the San Jose Sharks just aren't the same. Ever since Celebrini left, we haven't been the same. I don't care how good we look during the regular season, the playoffs aren't the same for this team. We just can't win those additional games. Stevenson 15 points, Short 12 points, Goldubin, he's picking up 11, Andronov only 10 points. That's not the Andronov I've known from the past. In the past, he would have like 20 points. And then Hines, these aren't the numbers I remember. An 891 and a 339. Nah, we've officially fallen off. The boys are just washed. We're not the same team we used to be. I don't know what more I have to say about this team. We all know we're not the same team. The William Jennings is going to be going to Hines, but who cares about that? We lost in the second round. We have 4 years left in the rebuild. We need at least one more. I know I said originally 2 or 3 Stanley Cups, but just give me one without Celebrini. Now, this player in the third round might have just saved us. We got a medium-league potential defensive defenseman. Now, this guy's 100% not going to be staying on our team. We will be moving him sooner than later because we need a good young player to jump to the lineup. Now, sure, I do need to give you an extension here, and I'm not really too sure how much money you're going to be looking for. 17 million is actually not that bad. I guess I can bring you back. Considering what direction this team's heading, we do have to hold on to some pieces, and Shore is going to be one of them. 15.4 million. That's really not too bad. Goldubin, I'll re-sign you at a later date, maybe at the end of the season. Molson, how much are you going to be looking for? 8.8 million. I don't hate that deal, so we'll do it. Actually, this is going to be a really good deal. We're going to be in the $7 million range, maybe even the $6 million range. If we can get this down to 6 million, that's the greatest deal of all time, but we're not going to be able to do that. We'll do 7.3 with no movement. Actually, I'll make that 7.4 just to be safe. And then when it comes to Hines, I think there's a chance he doesn't come back next season. Like, Hines, you're not the player you used to be. You're 35 years old. We're going to hold off with your extension and we'll see what happens. So with that medium-league potential player that we drafted, I'm going to package him up with 2 other young guys and a first round pick. We're going to try to get McPherson. He has medium-league potential. He can be a good player for us in the future. And we're also going to give Varlamov. He can play some bottom 6 minutes. They're going to be rejecting this deal, but I'll give you another first round pick. I don't care if I'm overpaying here. We're getting 2 players that we desperately need, so this is a great trade. Now, last season, we ended up winning the President's Trophy. However, when the playoffs came around, we completely folded when it mattered. And honestly, I don't know if we're going to be able to win. Andronov's dropped to an 85. Goldubin's dropped to an 86. Like, we just don't have the superstars of the past. There was a point in time when we had 5 players on our forward core all being a 90 overall. Now we only have 190 overall in the forward core. The team's just not the same. Age has caught up to this team. We've lost a handful of players. Hines isn't even the starting goaltender anymore. The fall off has begun. I mean, let's be honest. The fall off began the second Macklin Celebrini left the team, but we will win without him. Because I'm not going to lie, if we don't win with Macklin Celebrini, that's kind of crazy. Now, Father Time has certainly affected our team. With the lack of 99 overalls, it's no surprise the Sharks are only 5th in the entire league. We're just not the same team we used to be, plain and simple. But don't be surprised if after this season, we make some big plays, because there's going to be a handful of guys leaving the team. Goldubin, I can almost guarantee you're not returning next season. Andronov, I wouldn't be shocked if you retired. So if we lost both of these guys, that's going to free up a lot of cap space. We could try to go make some big splashes in free agency. Patterson, you weren't the guy for us this season, so we can only do one thing. Hines, you're stepping in for the playoffs. I don't care if you were the backup the entire season. Hines is our number 1, and truthfully, I think we should rock him for the rest of this video, as long as we can sign him to a reasonable price. I don't care if he completely falls off. I want to keep him around. So although Patterson was the starter for the entire season, it's time for Hines to take over. He has been been our guy for a very long time, and I shouldn't turn my back on him. I should have never turned my back on him. I should have made him our starter for the entire season. With that being said, he has lost back-to-back games. Maybe we should have stuck with Patterson. We better not get swept here. Luckily, we're winning game 3. Can we win game 4 as well? All right, we got to make some changes. This team is just not good enough. We're going to be losing in the first round to the Calgary Flames. We allowed 7 goals. Yeah, we're not even going to take a look at the stats. We're just moving on to next season. Changes will be made. So the Dallas Stars are going to go on to win the Stanley Cup, but the real question is, are we losing any players to retirement? Are any of our elite players from the past going to be retiring? I think there's a good chance we lose a couple guys here. Like, we have a handful of guys that are getting up there in age, and it looks like we're losing one. Andronov is going to be retiring. 622 goals, 952 assists for 1,574 points. One of the greatest players of all time. We're going to be freeing up $11 million with him not coming back to the team. He won 7 Stanley Cups with us, including a Calder. He was an underrated piece to all of our Stanley Cups. You will be missed. Now, when it comes to the draft moving forward, basically the only thing we want are medium league potential players. Whether it's goaltenders, forwards, or defensemen, nobody we draft is going to develop in time. We just need medium league potential players that are going to have trade value. So hopefully this guy right here is going to have medium league potential. That is an absolute steal right there. So we're likely going to package him up, maybe with our medium league potential goaltender, and get a guy who is selected in the top 3. So we're not wasting any time. The 2 players that we just drafted are now going to be sent over to Vancouver, and we're going to try to get the player they selected first overall. I'm going to give you a future second round pick as well. Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. I wouldn't be overly surprised if we have to throw in a bit more, and clearly we have to. So how about I give you our second round pick for 2049? Hopefully that's going to be enough to make the difference. We're a little bit low. That's perfectly fine. Here's a third round pick, and this is going to be more than enough to get Willis. Now it's a sad day. Goldubin, we have to move on. You want $11 million. You're just not worth that anymore. You're a great player, but I can't commit $11 million. So unfortunately, he's going to be leaving the team. That does leave us with $34 million in cap space. So I think we're in a good position that way. Hines, you're looking for $7.7 million, but I can't bring you back at that price tag. That's just too expensive to be our backup. So thank you for all the Stanley Cups you won with us. Let's take a quick look at his trophy case. 6 Stanley Cups, 3 Vezinas, 4 William Jennings. He's going to go down as one of the greatest goaltenders of all time. And Goldubin, I guess it wouldn't hurt if we took a look at your awards. What were you able to accomplish with the franchise? 7 Stanley Cups, 2 Conn Smythes and a Calder. You, Macklin, Celebrini, and Andronov on the top line. You guys are going to go down as the greatest line in NHL history. Now, before we go spend some money in free agency, because we're 100% spending some money, we have to re-sign some players. McPherson, you're 100% coming back to the team because you're moving into a top 6 role. Obviously, I'm going to give you no movement so we can save some money. Here's $11 million for the next 5. So you're going to be coming back to the team. Varlamov, I'd like to bring you back as well. We'll do 2 seasons with you at $2 million. That's perfect. You can stick around the bottom 6. Sweeney, I'm hoping we can do something similar with you. It's going to be 2.3 for the next 2 years. You're going to be sticking around as well. I think there's a good chance we run the exact same team for the final 3 seasons. But I guess all that's going to depend on how much Patterson wants. And you know what? We can work with this deal. So we're going to be looking at about $7.7 million. Actually, we're going to make that $7.9 million for the next 4 years. Patterson's going to be our goaltender moving forward. And then when it comes to our backup, we're probably going to sign one. So we need to sign a superstar to the team. I don't know who that's going to be, but we need to bring in somebody. Rivers is certainly an interesting player. I know he's a centerman and we don't really need a centerman. However, we can move him out of position. We can play him on one of the wings. So I'll have a quick negotiation with him, but I do want to bring Ralph Rivers to the team. So Ralph Rivers, here's what I'm going to be offering you. 16.3 for the next 7 seasons. I was really hoping you would accept immediately, but I guess we're not on the same page when it comes to that. So we have 3 more years to prove we can win a Stanley Cup without Celebrini. All of the Stanley Cups we've won so far have been with Celebrini on the team. Since he's left the team, we haven't seen nearly as much success. However, that's about to change because I know the boys are going to step up this season. Patterson's the starting goaltender. Jensen's the backup. He's also going to be a very good backup for us. He's an 84 overall. We picked up for $1.4 million. So yeah, that's a great goaltender in between the pipes. But San Jose, I believe you have a good team here. This is one of the best teams you've had in a while now with the amount of players regressing on our team. So I expect big things from you this season. Honestly, it's Stanley Cup or bust for the next 3 years. Now, San Jose, whatever you do, don't let me down. A 60-16-6 record. We were so incredibly good this season. Shore 93 points, Stevenson 89 points, Kavasha 84. Ralph Rivers, I'm not going to lie, you kind of let me down a little bit, but who cares? We're the best team in the entire league. Patterson, 60 wins, 5 shutouts. I forgot I had you playing every game. We're not going to worry about that. The reason you played every game this season is because last season I wanted Hines to be our goaltender, so I turned auto-rotate goaltenders off, and I forgot to turn it back on. So I'm going to do that before we head into the postseason. We're taking on Chicago in the first round. Just give me one more Stanley Cup. So we have another chance at winning a Stanley Cup, and it starts right now. We're taking on the Chicago Blackhawks in the first round. Chicago usually puts a little bit of pressure on us, so I'd be surprised if we swept them. We're winning the first 2 games though, and right now the defense is looking amazing. Can we win game number 3 as well? Can we sweep Chicago? Okay, San Jose might be onto something. So we're moving on to the second round, and now we get to match up against the Seattle Kraken. 4-0 so far in the postseason. We're off to the best start imaginable, but let's make that 8-0. We immediately lost game number 1. Not the greatest sign in the world, but you know what? We're getting back into the win column. We're winning 2 games before dropping another. It's a best of 3 moving forward, with game number 5 being the most important game. Win me game number 5, perfect. Now all you have to do is win me one more game. Win me game number 6, but we have to go to game 7. I hate game 7. Game 7 is the worst thing in the world for the San Jose Sharks, because this is when they collapse. This is when everything goes wrong for the team. We're still trailing by 1 goal entering the third. Please wake up in the third, and that's going to be happening. We're picking up a big time goal, but can we score in overtime? Can we make it back to the conference finals? Crooks, you're a legend for this goal right here. We're still alive, and we still have a chance. So we're moving on to the conference finals. We have the Dallas Stars up next. We are 4 wins away from making it back to the Stanley Cup final. It has been a long time since we've been in the Stanley Cup final, but I think we're about to make it there. If we didn't drop back-to-back games, we would have been there, but now we have to make the comeback. We have to make the comeback right now, and that's what we're doing. Don't go to game 7. We are here. The Stanley Cup final. Give me 4 more wins. 4 more victories can prove that we don't need Macklin Celebrini. We can win a Stanley Cup without him, and that's what we're going to do right here, right now. Win me another Stanley Cup, a sweep over Tampa Bay. San Jose's back on top. San Jose's back on top at the right time, because we have 2 years left in this rebuild, and you know what that means? 2 more Stanley Cups, and we finish off with a three-peat. The San Jose Sharks are Stanley Cup champions once again. Everyone on this team is going to be returning for next season. Crooks, you're a legend. Rivers, you were actually pretty solid in the postseason as well. And when it comes to Patterson, 16 wins, 3 shots, a 933 and a 219. We've already signed this man to a big extension, and so far he's already living up to that extension, but we have 2 years left, and I want 2 more cups, so let's go win those. Now this is the best thing that could have happened to our team. A medium league potential power forward late in the 4th round. We're now going to trade him for somebody who wins the top 3. Now who do we want to bring in from the top 3? Well, Humphreys probably wouldn't be a bad pickup, but you know what? I don't think we need another sniper. How about we bring in one of these 2-way forwards? So Buffalo, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you our 1st rounder and 3rd rounder for next season on top of the medium league potential player we just drafted. I think that should be enough. They're going to be saying no. What else do you want? Do you want this 4th and 5th rounder? I don't really care about draft picks moving forward. I care about elite potential players, and it looks like we're going to be trading for one. We have 2 seasons left in our 25-year rebuild, and of course, we're looking to finish it out with a three-peat. We won a Stanley Cup without Macklin Celebrini. Honestly, I was starting to think it was impossible. I didn't think we'd be able to win without Celebrini, but now that we've done that, I don't think there's anything that can stop us. Patterson, let's go pick up 2 more Stanley Cups. Now, as long as we keep things simple, I think we'll be in a good spot. 3rd in the entire league, a 51-26-5 record. Although it's not a President's Trophy win, I'm not too concerned. I am a bit concerned with the scoring though, because yeah, we didn't see great offensive numbers this season. We weren't really putting the puck in the back of the net. Yes, we did have one of the best offenses in the entire league, and our goaltending was pretty solid, but the fact that the leading scorer on our team only had 69 points, yeah, that has me a little bit concerned. Truthfully, I'm all over the map with this team. I say I'm not concerned, then I say I am concerned, then I say I'm not concerned, then I say I'm very concerned. I don't really know what to think heading into this season. Like, truthfully, anything can happen here. Would I be surprised if we lost in the 1st round? Absolutely not. Would I be surprised if we went 16-0 and won a Stanley Cup? Maybe, because we went 16-0. But would I be surprised if we won a Stanley Cup? Not really. Like, this team is really good. We're a top 3 team. But with that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle beats us. Let's just focus on game number 5. That's the next game coming up. It's a best of 3, and we're dropping it. Alright, that's not how I want to end this video. We can't be ending with a 1st round exit. I mean, technically there is one more season after this one, but our 2nd last season can't be a 1st round exit. We can't do that. We're going to be dominating this one. 3 goals in the 1st period is more than enough. We're moving on to game 7. Also, it would have been really crazy if we lost that game after scoring the first 3. So we're moving into game 7. It all comes down to this game right here. Can we find a way to take down the Seattle Kraken? Well, we're outscoring them in the 1st period. Moving into the 2nd, we're dominating this one. It's a 5-1 victory. Seattle couldn't crack it with us. So we took down the Seattle Kraken, and now we have the Vancouver Canucks to take down. I expect expect Vancouver's going to put up a bigger fight here, but maybe not. We won the first 2 games. We have a 3-1 series lead. We are 1 game away from the conference finals. Can we make it back? Well, we're not going to do that in game number 5. Maybe we can do it in game number 6. Can we find a win here? Nope, we're just collapsing defensively. We have now allowed 13 goals in the past 2 games. After completely dominating Vancouver, we are now in game 7. We're picking up 2 goals in the first period to their first. Moving into the second, we scored a lot of goals. We have a 3-goal lead entering the third. We shouldn't collapse, but we almost collapsed. But almost doesn't mean we lost, it means we won. Because if you almost collapsed, that means you didn't collapse. And that means you won the game, and that means you're moving on to the conference finals. So we're moving on to the conference finals to take on another Pacific Division team. We have the Calgary Flames up next. We have seen the Calgary Flames a lot over these past couple years, but I don't know if they're going to be able to stop us. We have a 3-1 series lead. 1 more victory puts us in the Cup final, and here we go. It all comes down to this final matchup right here. The Toronto Maple Leafs are the last team we have to take on. Can we beat the Toronto Maple Leafs and win another Stanley Cup? Well, we have a 3-1 series lead. Can we close it out in game number 5? No, we cannot. Can we close it out in game number 6? Do not go to game 7. We are going to blow another 3-0 series lead in the Stanley Cup final. That is crazy. That is one of the wildest things I've ever seen. Multiple 3-0 series leads blown in the Stanley Cup final. How do you even do that? Bohinski's going to be picking up a big time goal. It's over. It's all over. We're going to lose this one. I can see it all happening. But Molson's going to score. Molson's picking up a 3rd period goal. The San Jose Sharks have won another Stanley Cup. We can still finish this video off with a 3-peat. No, like I really thought we were done. I thought there was no chance we were going to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs there, but we did. We're on top as Stanley Cup champions once again. The San Jose Sharks are taking another one home. Rivers, Stevenson, Shore, Crooks, all of you guys stepped up big time for me. The offense across the board was really good. And then when it comes to goaltending, it was okay. Patterson, 16 wins, 2 shots, a 901, a 274. I wouldn't jump up and down about these numbers. These numbers did just lead us to our 2nd straight Stanley Cup victory, so why am I going to complain? We have year 25 coming up next, a chance at a 3-peat. Let's finish this video off with 1 more cup. Now, before we move into next season, there's really only 1 contract we have to worry about, and that's Kavasha. We're going to give him around $13 million for the next 2 seasons. He'll rejoin the team, and then we'll go ahead and win 1 more Stanley Cup. 1 more Stanley Cup to finish off this video. The perfect way to end it. So Kavasha, here's $13 million for 2 seasons. We're ready to roll. We've won back-to-back Stanley Cups with this core right here. Yes, they don't have the high overalls we've seen in the past, but who cares? They've been able to win back-to-back Stanley Cups, and they're looking to win their 3rd straight this season. Patterson finally has an X factor, an 87 overall with elite potential. I'm expecting big things from him during this postseason run. 1 more to finish off the video. So it all comes down to 1 final season, 1 final year where the San Jose Sharks are 5th in the entire league with a 44, 26, and 12 record. We might not have the greatest record in the world, but you know what this team does? They step up when it matters. In the postseason, every time, this team will find a way to win. Regardless of how many regular season wins they have, regardless of who is on the ice, the San Jose Sharks will step up and they will find a way to win 1 more Stanley Cup. We're taking on the Vancouver Canucks in the 1st round. San Jose, give me 1 more to finish off the video. It's taken us a hot minute to get to this point, but here we are, 2050, our final season to complete the 25-year rebuild. The San Jose Sharks are looking to win 1 more to finish off with a 3-peat. The team has looked fantastic so far, and I don't think they plan on slowing down anytime soon. However, in saying that, we have split the series, and now we're trailing in the series. Don't go out in the 1st round. Losing in the postseason is one thing, but losing in the 1st round, that's not how I want to finish this video. I don't want to finish with us losing in the 1st round, but you know what? I don't think we have to worry about losing in game number 6. We're off to game 7 in a big 5-0 victory. So we might have avoided the 1st round loss, but now we have to win game 7. So it all comes down to this right here. Can we win game 7 and move on to the 2nd round? Well, we're going to be picking up the 1st goal of the game. We're picking up the 2nd goal of the game. We have now scored 7 unanswered against the Vancouver Canucks. Can we get back-to-back shutouts? It doesn't look like it. We're going to be allowing a goal with 7 minutes left, but who cares? Because we're going to be winning the game still. So we made it past the Vancouver Canucks, and we don't have to worry about losing in the 1st round. We're advancing to the 2nd round to take on another Pacific Division team, the Calgary Flames, a team we have taken on a handful of times in this video. Also, if I said Flames funny, I just bit my tongue. So yeah, that is not good. You know what else isn't good? Being down 3-1 this series. Can the San Jose Sharks find a way to fight back? Well, we're going to be winning game number 5. Now win me game number 6. 6. The Sharks want to make a 3-1 series comeback so we can complete the three-peat. We need to win game 6, but that's not going to be happening. The San Jose Sharks are falling in the second round, and just like that, the 25-year rebuild's complete. We tried to go for one last Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, that just didn't happen. Shore, Rivers, Sanders, Willis, all of you guys did your thing, but it just wasn't good enough. We weren't able to walk away with one more Stanley Cup, and because of that, the video ends right here. The San Jose Sharks over the past 25 years saw a decent amount of success. I believe we won 8 or 9 Stanley Cups. I don't think anyone would complain about 8 or 9 Stanley Cups over a 25-year period. Now, of course, we have to look at the record book to finish off this video. When it comes to all-time seasons played, Patrick Marleau is still going to be number 1 with 21, and he's also going to lead in games played with 1,607. When it comes to goals, that's going to be Celebrini, 816. When it comes to assists, Celebrini, 1,040. And then when it comes to points, of course, it's Celebrini once again, 1,856. When it comes to penalty minutes, our man Andronov is going to be right at the top with 1,259. When it comes to wins, Haynes is right there, 540. And when it comes to shutouts, of course, it's Haynes once again. He's picking up 51. Now, when it comes to our all-time leaders, Sidney Crosby's at the top in games played, 1,925. But who is 3 games back of him? Slafkovsky. Never would have guessed that. When it comes to goalie games played, that's going to be Sergei Bobrovsky with 1,679. Most goals is going to be Austin Matthews with 1,146. Celebrini supposedly had 995 goals. Obviously, we know that's not accurate. Like, we literally just looked at his goal total. When we took a look at the San Jose Sharks, it says Macklin Celebrini picked up 816 goals. When we take a look at all-time scoring, he now has 995. You know what? We're not going to question it. When it comes to assists, Wayne Gretzky's still at the top, no surprise. When it comes to wins, we're going to see Hines with 574. He's going to be sitting 5th all-time. When it comes to shutouts, we're not going to be seeing Hines. That's no surprise. You needed to have 82 shutouts to be in the top 5, and Hines wasn't even close to that. When it comes to 50-goal seasons, we're going to find Austin Matthews with 13. 100-point season, Wayne Gretzky's going to be at the top with 15. And after taking a look at these records right here, the 25-year rebuild with the San Jose Sharks is now complete. We accomplished a ton of amazing feats in this video, including winning 8 or 9 Stanley Cups. This Sharks team was dominant. We had one of the greatest dynasties of all time. In this team's prime, nobody could compete with us. I don't recall how many straight Stanley Cup finals we made it to, but I think we almost made it to the Stanley Cup final in 10 straight seasons. That's how dominant we were. We would have had a 6-peat if we didn't lose in that one season, and I don't even want to talk about what happened that one season because I still haven't gotten over it. The San Jose Sharks have been a dominant force over the past 25 years, and in this team's prime, you can make the argument we had the greatest dynasty of all time.